It's big, it's bad, it's fast, it's Talladega. Hosting pack racing for the final time this season, and is the stage to open up a highly contested third round of the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs. 90 laps around this beast lies in wait upon the Gunman truck field. A mentally tasking challenge like no other. The high speeds and intensity will be displayed tonight, and Pit Stop TV is where to find it. Good evening all, and welcome to the virtual Lincoln, Alabama. Devin Zimmerman and João Paulo Costa join me on the call this evening. And gentlemen, we have the potential to know at least one driver competing for a championship tonight in 2 weeks' time in Atlanta. But why don't we go ahead and meet the drivers who have that opportunity?
Yeah, that's right, Emerson. We take a look at the points after 19 races of 22. We see Joseph Causey and Greg Holt, still the class of the field, up at the top of the leaderboards here. And, I mean, they've got a pretty big margin. And then it drops back to Jeremiah Stutzman, only 9 points clear the cut line to make the Final Four in Atlanta. Tyler Markle, 2 points clear. And then we get to last season's champion, who is finding himself on the outside looking in for the first time this playoff. He is sitting in fifth, 2 points he needs to get himself in. Max Service, his teammate there, Swift Racing, will have 5 points to make up tonight, and then between tonight and Bristol to next week. And then Seth Fitzpatrick, he is 13 points out of a spot. There's a lot of ground, though, that you can make up here at Talladega. It's big, it's fast. Anything can happen. We could have the big one. It could take out some of the favorites. It could have a dark horse winner. It could do anything. So you really got to put your truck in position tonight to not only finish the race, but finish well. And if you don't, then you could end up like, some of the guys who just kind of didn't have the luck this season. They tried to make it, force their hand, get the luck, and it just didn't pan out. That would be Kyle Lingerfoyle, Matthew Setzer, Joshua Fox, James Gilliard, Brad Bothwell, and Farrad Elam. We said goodbye to them throughout the playoffs here, and you can see the rest on your screen out there fighting for pride now, just wanting to get wins and set themselves up for next season. It is going to be a great time here at Talladega, and to tell you more about Talladega is JP.
Well, we'll get there in a second, but first, I do want to make a note to something. And 2 weeks ago, when we went off the air at the end of the Charlotte Roval 2 weeks ago, we announced that the math had worked out. Now, it was unofficial when we said it, so let's be clear. We did say it was unofficial when we called it. But Kyle Lingerfelt was called to have advanced onto the next round. Well, after reworking the math and making sure that all the numbers were in the right places, the right drivers got the right stage points, it turned out that Jeremiah Stutzman making that crucial pass on the last lap, even though Jeremiah Stutzman himself was 30 laps down, passing a driver who was then 31 laps down the last lap at the Charlotte Roval last week, would give him an extra point that would tie himself and Kyle Lingerfelt at the cut line. Jeremiah Stutzman had the tiebreaker of best finish in the round with his second place finish at Texas, and Kyle Lingerfelt was then eliminated. So, to anyone who maybe didn't get that memo, we're saying it here. I know at the end of last broadcast 2 weeks ago, we said that Lingerfelt was in, but Jeremiah Stutzman, with that crucial last lap pass on Jason Miz, got him the extra point to tie Lingerfelt and put himself into the playoffs. So that's why Lingerfelt is out, Stutzman is in, even though we called the inverse 2 weeks ago. But it is now a whole new day. And again, we met the 7 drivers, or we discussed the 7 drivers who are in. JP, let's just set the stage with where we're at tonight.
Well, Talladega, I mean, there's not a lot to talk about, but at the same time, there's a lot to talk about in this racetrack. Obviously, it's a super speedway, so we're going to be seeing drivers go flat out throughout the race, as you mentioned. It will be the last time we're going to be seeing pack racing on this season. And, well, I mean, it's a fantastic racetrack. It provides fantastically close racing, but also, as my colleague mentioned, it could throw a spanner in the mix. We could see some championship contenders being thrown out due to a massive wreck. And obviously, when we take a look at the track map, we can see 4 corners, turns 1 and 2 with 33 degrees of banking, then have a massive straight, turns 3 and 4 with 32.5 degrees of banking, just a tiny little bit less, and 16.5 degrees of banking when we get to the tri-oval. Obviously, when cars are running by themselves on qualifying or even on the race, for some odd reason, they're not going to be loose. They're going to be absolutely, on the downforce. But whenever you talk about pack racing, cars can get loose, and that could prove a challenge to these drivers. You're following someone, your car might get loose throughout the race. With tires just going, something can happen. So even though it's a speedway, you just need to keep your foot planted. It really requires a lot of attention, a lot of precision to bump draft correctly, to be in the right place at the right time. And that's, Emerson, because you've been in the oval for a long, long time, being at the right place at the right time on the final few laps is going to be crucial to make sure you guarantee that win. And some of these drivers, they absolutely have to win in order to advance to the final four.
Absolutely, and you said it. Being at the right place at the right time is everything in those waning laps. It could be in the right place at the right time on the last lap, coming out of turn 4, because something that the track map, I guess, does not illustrate at the moment, but the track map would normally show the start-finish line past pit exit, where it's normally in the middle of the tri-oval, like it would be at Daytona. So that start-finish line, 1,000 feet further, which means you could lay back, still grab a run out of turn 4, and slingshot past your competitors by the time you get to the start-finish line. That's nearly nearing the entry of turn 1. So yes, absolutely. As a playoff driver, you want to set yourself up to be in a position where you can capitalize if something happens in the waning laps. But more importantly, you still, even when that white flag drops, you still have 2/3 of a lap to set yourself up for that long run from turn 4 to the start-finish line. Devin?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of ground to be made up between that exit of turn 4 and that turn 1. Was it start-finish line, almost getting into turn 1 there. Just from experience here, you can go from pretty much. I think I've won a race here where I was 6th coming off turn 4 and won the race here at Talladega. It's a crazy track that can provide big runs if you're on the high side, but you got to make it work. You got to work the side draft. In these trucks, it's not as prominent as, say, like the Cup car, but it's still there just a little bit. So you'll see these guys get real close to each other down the straightaways especially, and then pull off very quickly to try and get a run. You'll also see some guys bump drafting, which you got to be careful there with the amount of downforce these guys are going to want to have on the front of the truck just to keep it planted in the front so they can get around this track very quickly and get runs. It can loosen the back of the truck up, so when you do bump drafts on the back of the truck, if you're not careful, it'll lift the rear wheels off the ground, and then the truck in front can get loose and just spin out. Without pretty much any warning, you really won't feel it until it goes. So a lot of give and take here is going to be needed. We'll see pack racing. We're going to see some excitement. I mean, this is a playoff race. The first race of the round of 7. We're going to the round of 4 next week at Bristol. I mean, you can't take a week off here. I mean, you got to have a good finish here at Talladega. You got to have a good finish next week at Bristol. It's just the way the schedule has worked out. It is an amazing schedule because it provides so much excitement here at the end of the season. I mean, you can look at it there on the screen. We've gone 19 races. We're on the 20th race now, Talladega. And it's just, it's so exciting, Emerson.
Absolutely. You said you can't take a day off. You can't take a week. You can't take a single lap off. If any, you can't take any moment off, because this schedule, and there really wasn't, any stretch of tracks here that allowed you to kind of get into a rhythm. This schedule has kind of rocked you one way or another, right from the get-go, right from the last time we went pack racing at the season opener at Daytona. Then we had Rocking, Homestead, Auto Club, Phoenix, Las Vegas. We even had the dirt track there, 7th round, right back to a short track, a road course, a flat mile track, a 2-mile speedway, back to a mile track. There was absolutely no consistency throughout the schedule, which I think was an amazing aspect about it, because it forced these drivers to stay at the top of their game all throughout the schedule, competing at various track types. It was such a gauntlet of races we've gone through so far, and we're not done. As we said, tonight, Talladega, 90 laps. Next Wednesday, 200 laps at Bristol, and that's it. Then we have 4 drivers at Atlanta. First one to the start-finish line on the end of the last lap at Atlanta out of those 4 is the champion. What a season it's been so far, but we're not done yet. We still have a big bow tie to put on the end of it. With that being said, we're going to step aside for a moment real quick. We're going to catch our breath and get ready to bring you coverage from the big bad Talladega Super Speedway on the far side of this break.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome everyone back to the Talladega Super Speedway. We're here in the virtual Lincoln, Alabama for round 20 of 22 on the Outlaws Sim Series Gunman truck schedule. The opening round of the final round of the playoffs before we get 4 drivers set for a championship 4, and we start with the big bad super speedway here at Talladega. And once again, I want to give a huge thanks to Devin Zimmerman and João Paulo Costa joining me in the call this evening for the amazing race we're about to embark on here. 90 laps of action around the Talladega Super Speedway is no joke. Again, myself, Emerson Arn, production and commentary tonight. If you want to join our crew, by the way, go ahead and send an email to Andrew at andrew@pitstoptv.com, and he'll get you hooked up, and we'll get you going on some of our broadcasts here. It would be much appreciated. And but before we get too far into things tonight, of course, we have to give a huge shout out to our partners here at Pit Stop TV. And of course, that are partners of Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. Use promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. A huge shout out to our partners at Permanent Makeup in Cryo, Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. You can check them out at permanentmakeupinmaine.com. They have locations in Auburn, Lewiston, Naples, and Saco, Maine. And Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine owner Ashley Bollier is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. Andrew actually went up to Maine over Thanksgiving. We got to see how the offices and amazing. He, I'm sure if you talk to Andrew, you catch Andrew, he'll tell you all about the amazing work they do up there. And of course, check them out on their Facebook page, Permanent Makeup and cryoinmaine.com. Of course, they have giveaways all the time, and who knows, you might just win. How about Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV? You can check us out at www.pitstoptv.com/whiplash to get your hands on some sim racing cameras and more sim racing accessories. How about BAM Racing Videos by a race fan for the racing community? Check them out on Facebook at BAM Racing Videos for high quality short track racing content. Boys, well into the practice session here, just the waning moments. Practice times, they don't always tell the whole story most weeks, but Talladega, I mean, this could be anyone's race. Joshua Gaffright, non-playoff driver, top of the practice charts this evening. But again, at Talladega, it's all dependent on who you're drafting with, and the practice times you see here could be irrelevant, even in 7 minutes time.
Yeah, exactly, Emerson. I mean, it's just all about who's with you, who's going to be your friend at that right moment when you pull out a line and go either to the top side, go to the low side, wherever you are going to go. You have that person that's going to go with you and help you get to the front. You can only do so much by yourself, and if you are by yourself, more than likely you're going to fall way back in the pack. If everybody lines up underneath of you or outside of you, they can do something that's called a train, where they just go right by you like you're standing still. So you can kind of see there. You can kind of see there on the track. We're watching the 42 truck of Tyler Markle, and you see this guy's about us outside of him. He just went by him like he's standing still. He's in the draft. They weren't. But we're going to try and get the 42 truck here up into the booth. Tyler Markle, this is Devin in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Doing fine.
I mean, sound pretty calm there. We're getting ready to start the first race of this last round of the playoffs at a super speedway, no doubt, in Talladega. How are you feeling about the track? How are you feeling about drafting?
It's been fun so far, as we're in the pack right now for a little bit. Oh, whoever that is behind me hit the wall. But we're doing fine. I mean, I'm only 2 points to the good. If we wreck here, we're done. That's how I'm looking at it today, so probably gonna take it easy throughout the race. Oh
no!
Oh, there you get turned there, and that's how quick your luck can change.
Oh, you killed you.
At least it was just practice. It's just practice.
Yep. Well, I think it'll be a fun race. I mean, if we look at plate races here, they're usually pretty calm, but Dega's the one that's, been pretty more, had more wrecks, I would say, the last 2 years, I would think, right? Because Daytona seemed pretty calm, other than the end of the races.
Yeah, the intensity always picks up at the end. You're just trying to get there at the beginning of the race and then put yourself in a position to where you can have a chance to win it at the end. You was talking about you're going to take it easy. That does mean you're going to take the strategy and maybe fall into the back at the beginning of the race and then just trying to work your way up throughout the race and not really force the issue on things?
My plan is probably until like 3 or 5 to go in stages, sit at the back, and then race the way up at the end, maybe. Hopefully not wreck. And then once stage 2 is over, probably just hang out until 5 to go. That's more likely the plan for me.
Yeah, sounds good. We can't forget about those stage points. They became a maker or breaker. That's what basically saved Jeremiah Stutzman from elimination last round with stage points. So I want to wish you luck. We'll get going here and let you get ready for qualifying. Go ahead and shout out whoever you got to shout. Thank whoever you got to thank. The floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you. To Dark Horse, everybody on that team, they've helped me throughout the season. I mean, I like Max and Seth and all of them too, but it's just like I wanted to do something different this year and probably be back with them next year. As for the car, thank you, Devin, for the paint, and then shout out to Mike, who has the logo on the truck this week. Mine's also on there, but I'm supporting his Twitch channel this week. I don't know if he's watching, but hopefully he is, and we'll see you guys later after the race, hopefully.
Well, I appreciate the good words. We'll let you get back to it. And good race. Hopefully we're talking to you at the end there.
Hopefully.
And on the other side of that cut line, it is, you said, last season champion Seth Berger. Kind of on the back foot coming into this final round. He needs to have he doesn't need to have an amazing run, but he needs to keep out of trouble. He just needs to he needs to finish the race, I think. To give himself a chance at Bristol. He's pretty good at Bristol, but again, coming to Talladega, where there's a lot of variables you can't control. You saw, we heard from Tyler Markle on one side of the cut line. Now JP is going to be standing by with Seth Berger, who's on the other side of that cut line.
So Steph, coming into Talladega, the first round of 7, being 2 points below the cut line, how difficult is it, on a track that so much can go wrong so quickly, being below the cut line by so little? How do you come into this race? How do you prepare for it?
At a track like Talladega, man, I think you just got to kind of wing it, man. A lot of people could try going in with plans, and I have tried going in with plans before, and more than half the time that plan never comes into play, mainly just because you got to do whatever you can to stay in the game, whether that's staying up front and not wrecking, or if you're just trying to stay in the back but trying to keep up with the lead pack. So, this round's going to be crazy. I'm not too concerned being just a couple points below. Is definitely going to be the craziest round.
Well, obviously, being this close to the end of the championship, it definitely will be one of the craziest rounds. Obviously, the super speedway itself is going to be proving itself a challenge. Emerson mentioned that obviously, the next round in Bristol is one of your favorites. So even if you have a bad race, do you feel confident enough to make those points back in the next race if things come to that?
Yes and no. I do like Bristol, but it's also Bristol. So, like I said, I think it's just gonna have to be winging it and just doing whatever you got to do to try to get stage points if you can. But you got to be smart at the same time.
That's definitely one of the best strategies you can have. Just take the race one step at a time, and hopefully it plays off. Obviously, being this tricky, it's kind of hard to say. With 1 minute left in practice, everybody's pretty much on the pit lane. Who do you have to shout out before the race? Who do you have to thank? The floor is yours. Please do it.
I'd like to thank Burger Nation for still supporting me, and hopefully I can get them into the next round, do them proud, and hopefully you guys can check out my Instagram page, Berg_arts. I'll get the photo soon, and I'll be up and running soon.
Well, there we go. Hopefully we can talk to you at the end of the race, and hopefully you have some amazing shots at the end of the race as well. I wish you the best of luck, and well, as I mentioned, hopefully I can talk to you at the end of the race.
All right, thank you.
Well, Emerson, that was Seth Berger, 2 points below the cut line at Talladega, does not have a plan, but, that may be the best plan possible.
Absolutely, and I think we heard from both Tyler Markle, who is 2 points below the cut line, Seth Berger, last season's champion, who's 2 points below the cut line coming into tonight's race. I think that's kind of the mindset you should have. It's kind of like, you can't control a whole lot at Talladega. You're going to be in a pack of 31 trucks, and you're only controlling one of them. You can't control the others. I think that's a perfect kind of mindset to go into Talladega with. At the same time, how can you not be worried if you're a playoff driver, especially on that cut line? I don't know how Tyler Markle and Seth Berger just kept it so calm. But here we go. We are now in the qualifying at Talladega. It's going to be something for sure. We're going to have these drivers to get 3 timed laps. I'd imagine a lot of drivers are going to be trying to get up to speed on their first lap. Their second lap, they're probably going to experiment a little bit, but the third lap, I think, is going to be the lap that they're most up to speed. And if they're going to be able to get pulled, we're going to see them kind of happen late. And how about this? Driver of the number 7, Joshua Balliet, taking to the track. This driver was in the championship 4 last season. This season, he kind of took a step back. He's a part-timer, but he was helping with race control this season. Joshua Balliet taking to the track here, Devin.
Yeah, it's good to see him back. The last couple of times we've seen him, he's been wrecked out on the first lap. He's done in his last 2 races, 2 laps. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can do a lot more than that tonight. You can see he's running high in 3 and 4, and he might go for it on the first lap. That's something that I'm kind of partial to. I like going for it on the first lap. Just I don't want the tires to get any overheated or anything, especially with the amount of tape that you can run here at Talladega in an open setup. I think that first lap might be your best bet, but he's going to stay high. He should shoot it down. We'll see here what he's going to do. Nope, he stays high, so that means he's going to give up the first lap, set it up for the next lap, make sure the truck is completely up to speed, and we'll go from there. But to your point, Emerson, of just how people, how you can only control your truck and you can't control any of the other trucks around you. What you can do is set yourself up with people around you that will race you clean, that will help you. Normally that's a teammate, and we've seen that at sometimes in the Outlaw Series where we get guys with the big teammates try to get together, find their teammates, and work to the front that way because they know that the guys around them are racing, and they know that they'll race them clean, they'll give good pushes, and you can communicate with each other in the race. So as we're talking about that, one of the dominant teams here we see is Performance Sim Sports, and Joseph Causey is out there in the 88 truck this week. Nice Exalta paint scheme on that truck. And we'll see what he can do here. As a Balliet you saw across your screens, that's the fastest lap so far.
Joseph Causey's going to come across the line there in his first lap. He was kind of using it to get up the speed. He goes second quickest there. And that's the thing. When we talk about these trucks and qualifying at Talladega, most times I'm also somebody who likes to go for it on the first lap because that second lap always tends to be slower. But at the same time, I'm usually talking about the Gen 6 car, the next gen car, maybe in the Xfinity car. You got to think, the truck, which has the same power output as an Xfinity car, but and actually similar weight, but just the aerodynamics of a truck, I think they just take a little bit more time getting up to speed, and that first lap may just be better off used to get up to speed more another time down the back straightaway. It's really kind of hard to tell, but with the restrictor plates on these trucks, these 3,400 pound trucks, they produce 475 horsepower. That sounds like a lot, but with as blocky and bricky these trucks seem, it is difficult to kind of get that. But how about Joseph Causey going top of the charts right as we were reviewing him, and we still have some more drivers to go out there. How about the 7-time pole winner this season, Brad Boffley, out on the racetrack?
Yeah, as you mentioned, it doesn't matter how much horsepower you have, with that much weight and not being in aerodynamic shape, let's say like a GT car, even the Xfinity and the Cup cars, it's definitely difficult to get the cars up to speed and maintain that speed. And well, obviously the strategy being used on super speedways is running the top, just getting the most mileage, trying to get that car up to speed. And it's amazing sometimes on a super speedway, what it matters is precision, just getting that, the finest lines, not using as much steering input as possible. As I mentioned, the number 31, just running the top again. So as we mentioned, sacrificing that first lap to try to get a better run. Devin mentioned sometimes that can cause you to essentially lose a bit of grip within the second lap, as we do have the number 88 going faster. Only 45 thousandths of a second quicker, but Fitzpatrick a tenth behind as well. The times are close, but I feel like they should be closer, so we should be seeing some drivers on their second laps getting closer and closer.
Yeah, it depends, because, the thing is, we usually also talk about that, Devin, and JP, when we qualify, where we go on first lap and the second lap. Whereas most of the time, most of the experience we have is with the fix that these guys, they have open setups, maybe their trucks, you could tape your truck up to, seal it off and have it at the best aerodynamic shape, which is relative, because it's not that aerodynamic. As you see Brad Boffalo going to the bottom side of the racetrack now. You put your grill tape all the way up to 100, try to seal the truck up, try to get up to speed as soon as you can, But how many laps do you get out of that? You know, one, maybe two. It really is a strategy game, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of these drivers practiced qualifying with their open setups, playing with the tape amounts, playing with other things to kind of, you know, get that rear end out of the air and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could be right, Emerson. I got like guys who want to start up front and stay up front. Looks like Joseph Causey, Greg Holt. They want to get to the front. They want to stay there. Seth Fitzpatrick, another one, wants to get to the front and stay there. We'll see what Brad Bothwell does. He's all the way down to the apron here, which you can do in qualifying, not in the race. You can't go below the yellow line in the race, but in qualifying you can. He's going to give up the third lap. It looks like he only set his truck up to do 2 laps. So he's going to be 6th right now. And now we have Tyler Markle on the track in the 42. We'll see what he can do. But as he starts his times here, I believe. Oh, actually, he set first time there. So that was the first lap. Here's the second lap. This is the one that he's probably shooting for. But yeah, like you said, you could set up that second lap being an open setup to be the fast lap. Joseph Causey had his set up so he could run 3 laps, and was a little bit faster on the third lap. So it's just how you set the truck up. Some of these guys probably not really worry too much about qualifying because it is a restrictor plate. I mean, or it's a super speedway pack racing. It really doesn't matter where you start. If you don't think that you can get pole, then it might behoove you to not get pole and just run in the back and just save yourself. If there's an early incident that takes out a lot of trucks or something like that, you can hopefully miss it by being far enough behind it. You have time to react, slow down, and get around it. So 2 schools of thought, very interesting, very different in their own respect, but we could see those at play right now.
Exactly, and only at the end of the 90 laps we're going to figure out which strategy was the best. As you mentioned, staying at the front, staying with the front guys could give you a better chance, but obviously staying in the back, higher chance of avoiding wrecks. And for some drivers on the playoffs, it might be a good shot, just avoiding and just making sure that they end. But for those drivers that are struggling, just below the cut line, aggressiveness and getting those stage points might be the solution.
Right, and we heard Tyler Markle, he wants to play it safe, but because of where he is on the cut line, he also wants to go for it on the stages at the stage ends as well. So Tyler Markle may be one of those drivers who kind of goes forward and backwards throughout the night. You see Tyler Markle actually going to the apron there at the end of his lap as well, and he'll shut the engine off. Tyler Markle, looks like that'll actually, that lap actually was slower. It places him 11th quickest. That'll do it for the 42 truck, and we don't really have trucks taking to the track any more than that. So, I mean, we still have some time here, and we'll see if anybody else... I mean, actually, there's not really enough time for anyone to get out there and set another lap. But what we can do in the time being is take one more look at these standings, because let's remember, this is the first race of the round that decides who will be the championship for. And let's make it clear. If any of those first 7 drivers win tonight's race, they will be competing for a championship at Atlanta in 2 weeks' time. Meanwhile, everybody else is going to be trying to put themselves in the best point scenario heading in to Bristol, which again is another track where you just really can't control what happens to you at Bristol because it's so small. It's the world's fastest half mile, the last great Coliseum. That's what it's called for a reason. And we look at it. Holt and Causey, who again, they were top of the charts in qualifying. Causey pole at the moment, and Greg Holt third. 33 and 29 points with a cut line. Everybody else very tight. Stutzman, who barely made it into this round, 9 above. Tyler Markle 2 above. Seth Berger 2 back. Max Service 5 back. Seth Fitzpatrick 13 back. All of this could shake up tonight. But Devin, as qualifying ticks down, what do we have here?
We have the Pratt Tile and Stone Pole Award will be presented to Joseph Causey here at Talladega. He puts it on pole tonight at the Big Bad Super Speedway in Alabama. Congratulations to him winning the Pratt Tile and Stone Award. Pratt Tile and Stone serving Central Vermont since 2005. And I just want to point out something I just noticed really quick before we go through the lineup here. just keep an eye out for a team dynamics going on here. It seems that some teams are around each other, trying to find each other here in qualifying and set it up that way, possibly. So when we go through the lineup here, that'll be something interesting to take a look at.
Absolutely. And we'll get right to it right away, shall we? And we'll start with the front row, which is a couple performance sim sport drivers right off the bat. Joseph Kazi with the pole in the 88 truck to his outside teammate Joshua Gaffrey. And right behind them in row number 2 is teammate Greg Holt there in third. And Seth Fitzpatrick not aligned with those performance sim sport boys, but he's there in fourth. He's going to be racing for himself, trying to get himself those 13 points and make those bad boys up. We go into the next row. Julio Villalobos in the 45, also not really affiliated with a team. And Dark Horse Racing's Farron Elam Jr. there in 6, a driver who was in the playoffs, now on the outside, just kind of racing for pride. A couple teammates here with Brad Boffalo and Jeremy C. Poole right in the same row with one another. There's a lot of team dynamics right there, as Devin has been saying, with Brad Boffalo, Jeremy C. Poole in the same row. And right behind them, how about a couple Swift drivers with Seth Berger and Joshua Bally, a couple Final Four drivers from last season make up row 5.
Yeah, row 6, we see Tyler Markle and Devin Smith there together. Some Dark Horse Racing again, right there together in that row. Row 7 sees Landon Lacey, who is associated with the Swift Racing guys, and Max Service, the other Swift Racing truck, there in 14th. Then we get Jeremiah Stutzman and James Gilliard together. They're not really affiliated with each other. Stutzman's kind of affiliated with the Performance Sim Sports guys, but they're back there in the 8th row. The 9th row, we'll see Jason Miz and John Mickey rounding out the top 18, and then in the 19th and 20th position, row 10, Andrew Schroeder and Garrett Velsey.
In 21st place, we're going to have Benjamin Park in the number 23, and the 75 of Andrew Pratt in 22nd place. 23rd is going to be Randall Barnett in the 63, and the number 5 of Matthew Setzer. In 25th place, we're going to have Kyle Lingerfeld in the 65, and the 66 of Joshua Fox in 26th place. In 27th, the 96 of Matt Rogers, and the number 12 of Andrew Kohler in 28th place. And row number 15, we are going to have the number 25 of Eric Peck and the number 55 of Jesse Adams. Oh, and finally, the 31st place, we're going to have Doug Solms in the number 67. And Emerson, that's our grid.
Right, a 31 truck field getting ready to take to 90 laps around the Talladega Super Speedway. What a challenge, what a stage we've laid out here to begin round 20 of 22 on the Outlaws Sim Series season. Tonight, there are 2 stages that will be awarding the top 10 stage points, but there will be no change in session state for them at the completion of lap 18 and the completion of lap 41. You'll notice stage 1 will end at about halfway between the first fuel run. Stage 2 will end right after the first round of pit stops. It'll be intriguing to see who's able to kind of finagle some strategy to work out in their favor, but stage points will be awarded to the top 10 at the completion of lap 18 and lap 41. Real quick, man, she is cooking. 125 degrees Fahrenheit is the track temp here at the beginning of the race. I don't know if that's really going to affect anything. I think we're still going to see an aggressive nature out of this field for most of the non-playoff drivers, and a pretty conservative driving style for a lot of the playoff guys who want to make it to the end of this race. But 125 degrees is track temp. Very, very hot out there. Winds pretty calm. 8 miles an hour out of the east and fluctuating. But here we go. The iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety in the pit lane and through the long tri-oval that does not hold the start-finish line. The start-finish line, 1,000 feet further than Daytona. Barney, the flagman, waves the green flag. We're racing at Dega. through turn 3. The field comes, and we already saw 3 wide on the opening lap, and we saw a driver, Joshua Gaffrey, get shuffled out of the way very early. But we are now working our way through the tri-oval and getting ready to come around to complete the first lap of racing. The top 2 in the championship, the first 2 trucks on the inside lane. Seth Fitzpatrick trying to lead the first lap. He could not get there, but he's got Thayer and Eliam hot intel behind him. 6 trucks making up the outside lane.
Yeah, that's right. Double wide as they go through turns 1 and 2 from the start. I thought from the get-go we might see something like this, and the guys jockeying for position, trying to get some stuff done at the early part of the race. Causey has had enough. He was the leader. He gets the lap lead. He dives to the bottom. He's going to fall back to the end of the first group there, hang out behind the first group. I think that's a really good strategy. That's a personal strategy that I normally do. Just kind of hang out right around, get that lap lead, get out of there. So he's just going to do that. Let these guys up front figure it out. And man, it is double, about 6 rows deep right now. It's pretty interesting here early on, JP.
Yeah, exactly. It's extremely interesting. It looks like Fitzpatrick gets the second lap lead. But yeah, we're already seeing 2 wide. We're already seeing 2 lanes essentially filtering itself out. And as I mentioned, the number 88 dives back in line information just to be safe. Meanwhile, we can see the different strategies. The number 2 of Seth Fitzpatrick being 13 points down in the cutoff line, and he's trying to lead each and every single lap possible, so he's definitely trying to stay ahead. Looks like we did have another truck falling down. That may have been Greg Holt, and well, looks like strategy.
Oh, we got a wreck in the back.
Oh, as it looks like we're gonna have a wreck in the back. That might be the first yellow.
Taking a moment to get back there, but it looks like Andrew St. Cyr may be one of the trucks involved in that one, and Andrew St. Cyr a little bit of damage to his 12 truck.
Yeah, these guys are racing pretty hard in the back. I'm not really sure why. They couldn't get it settled out. Kind of formed almost a third pack back here. And they end up just getting together.
We'll try to see what happened here with the 12 of Andrew St. Cyr. And this is way back here in the pack. Caution out early here at Talladega. And oh no, Lingerfeld and Park get together. St. Cyr gets hit from behind with Doug Soames. Big hit there for the 96 of Matt Rogers as well. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, that effectively ends the night of the 96 and the 12. A lot of damage to both of those trucks. Yeah, just one little mistake. You take one lap off, and you have one little mistake like that, and it just costs. It can cost maybe not you, but it'll cost somebody, and that's what happened here.
Exactly. It looks like the field kind of checked up, but some drivers unfortunately got caught out at the last moment. Obviously, you're arriving at so much more speed, and as you can see, the number 23 kind of just avoids that. And then further behind, looks like we did have the accident, but as you mentioned, Evan, the night ended early for 2 drivers. Unfortunately, as you can see, the 12 with absolutely massive damage. He's going to be going straight into the garage after that, which is really unfortunate. After only 3 laps racing, you know, your night ending, but, you know, sometimes that's unfortunately what happens. Looks like we're going to have an onboard shot here, and you just see the number 96 here on board. The field kind of just checks up. He checks up as well, and then the action kind of happens on his side, and, yeah, just gets tangled up.
Yeah, everybody kind of. You're good. Everybody kind of checked up there, and I don't think Soames, St. Cyr, I don't know if they got the memo. There was a big checkup in the middle of the pack, and that's unfortunately what happened there.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like he drifted up. Maybe when he tapped the brakes, the truck just kind of straightened up for a second, and he drifted up the track and didn't realize that the 12 truck was just outside of him. St. Cyr was just to his outside, and they ended up making contact. So just incidental contact. Unfortunate that it happened to some guys who were just trying to ride around and play it to the end, and they only make it to lap 5. But what that does do is it jostles up the field a little bit. Some guys play some pit strategy here.
Yeah, we saw some people come in and, you know, maybe they wanted an easier shot to get to the back of the grid, and, you know, pitting here would, you know, definitely help you out with that, and not everybody's going to come down and pit. But some drivers who are going for stage points, or other drivers who aren't even playoff drivers, trying to shuffle themselves forward. Also, drivers who may be trying to get together with some teammates, like Swift Racing has formed their little 4-truck alliance right here with the 77 of Seth Berger, the 7 of Balliet, the 53 of Landon Lacey. I guess he has the 24 on his truck. Did not get that updated. And the 81 of Max Service. Those 4 trucks now, they're going to be 4th through 7th. They kind of get themselves a little bit of a grouping here. If they can stay together, they may be able to snag some stage points.
Getting those stage points early on might be a saving grace for some of these drivers. And as we mentioned time and time again, even on the pre-race show, those points can make all the difference, on your championship, especially when it comes to the final 2 rounds before deciding the championship for, just those few points can definitely save you and give you a buffer even for next week. Because, we talked with Berger, Bristol, it's still a tricky track. It's completely different than Talladega, but you can't take it for granted.
Absolutely not. Bristol, again, it's similar because, if something happens on the other side of the track, it's only going to take 5 seconds till you're on that part of the track. So it's not, it's not safer by any means. Both tracks have their own pros and cons, but right here, there is no choose rule at the plate tracks, by the way. Choices will not be able to be made here because it would just be way too easy for teams to align. So NASCAR said there's not going to be a choose rule implemented at plate tracks, and same here with the Outlaws Sim Series.
Yeah, and I think that's something to do with trying not to get teams lined up the way they want to be lined up, make them have to pull some strategy here on the restart. Like we see the Swift guys there in the was it the third and fourth row, or third and fourth row. They're going to have to find some way to get down in front of each other, talk it out, figure out how to get lined up if they all want to get lined up, and work it that way. It looks like some fuel saving there, Max, down on the apron pretty much this whole lap and most of the last lap, trying to save as much fuel as possible. Like you said, it's just going to be after that fuel run that stage 2 ends, so maybe the guys who pitted can make it now. Maybe these guys up front need to save a little bit so they can possibly make it and not have to pit and give up stage points.
This is something really interesting that, Devin just looked upon. Obviously me being quite new again to over racing, fuel strategy on road racing is absolutely a must, and we calculate fuel to the absolute, the last possible drop. Could we see some drivers running out of fuel if we get an overtime, if this race just extends for a little bit?
It's something that definitely could be looked into. It depends kind of where cautions fall, where drivers pit, and maybe that's a thing. The fuel loads here, they're a little tough to tell, but somewhere between 30 and 40 laps. But say you only make 2 stops and there's some overtime, absolutely, that could be a threat. So right there, that would be a little cushion for 1 or 2 overtime attempts to drivers who came in and pitted. But the iRacing.com safety vehicle has found its safety in the pit lane, and we are going to put this field back to work here at Talladega as we are green once again. Brad Bothwell gets shoved out to the lead as the field comes soaring into turn number 3, and it's the Swift boys. 4 trucks lined up nose to tail on the outside lane, looking to power their way forward.
Yeah, they played that to perfection. They are all lined up on the outside lane, the lane that gives the best runs off the turn. If you can set it up right, it looks like they're going to try and all get clear of Brad Bothwell before they move down. They all stay up high. They're almost clear already. Man, what's good drafting. And the 7 of Markle dives down out of line. He's trying maybe to slow up that lane. No, he's going to go for the lead himself on the inside.
It looks like, yeah, well, it looks like the 4 cars essentially turns into 2 cars of 2 lanes. Well, and it looks like Berger's going to be losing that lead to Balliet on the number 7. So one split, looks like the bottom lane kind of got the best run. Now as they enter turns 3 and 4, we're going to have to wait and see who's going to get the best line, the best shove, the best push possible on the exit of turn 4.
And not all is lost when a driver with a run like that goes to the bottom lane. Certainly for the time being. Oh, near trouble there in the tri-oval there for Lacey and Seth Berger. They are able to get their truck sorted back out. They're trying to get cleared with Max Service behind, trying to get cleared to the bottom side, and Balliet down there. You know what happened there? That was tactical. That was mind games played over the course of a lap. Balliet, they were trying to get Max Service cleared with them down the bottom lane last lap, but they couldn't. Balliet did get clear, and he rode that bottom lane all the way around. So while he was probably lifting all the way through the tri-oval, the other 3 were hard on the front on the outside lane. Balliet was able to lift and let his 3 teammates in front of him, and now it's a 4-truck train at the front of the field for Swift Racing. That was magnificent mind games, and that's the type of racing you're going to see at Talladega. Stuff just like that.
Yeah, some guys that we look to in real life that pull off similar strategies. That always seems to be the Penske teams. They always seem to get their cars where they want them, get them lined up as quickly as possible. That Penske Ford team seems to be the best at getting their cars together like that and just lining them up. And that seems to be what these guys have done here in the Swift camp, up at the front where they want to be. It looks like they want to stay there as long as they can. They're not dropping back after they lead a lap like we saw Performance Sim Sports do earlier. They're up at the front for the long haul, but they got company. The 33 and the 45 on the outside there, Julio Villalobos and James Gilliard looking to get their noses out front and challenge for this lead.
We'll definitely be trying, but obviously when you have, as you mentioned, teammates, they're gonna be pushing. It looks like the 45 got an absolutely amazing run with the 33, but those teammates again pushing Berger further and further ahead. The 45 trying to sneak into second place. Looks like he just got it by a few thousandths of a second, but yeah, it looks like we're just gonna be seeing teamwork. Obviously, they have to be extremely cautious to not hook up one of their teammates, which could really end. That's definitely something that Berger cannot have in this time of the championship, but looks like so far so good for those teammates. Well, if they can just keep this up, they're going to be golden, as Villalobos right now gets the lead of the race with an amazing push from Gilliard.
Yeah, just keep it up for 80 more laps. There's going to be a lot of things thrown at them in this race. They're going to have to pit. Who knows if we go green to the end. I mean, I don't know if we can go green to the end. 80 laps at Talladega is a beast of a number. About 3 wide through the trial. Well, James Gilliard has decided to ditch the 45 of Villalobos, and actually he's trying to work his way backwards. The Swift boys all over the apron on the bottom side of the racetrack. But here we go. Matthew Setzer, Eric Peck, and looks like that was... oh goodness, that was the 63 of Randall Barnett trying to get something going. They all kind of fell apart there. Once they got lined up, Joshua Gaffright says the fastest lap. And that's another thing. The fastest lap of the race is probably going to come from somebody sitting at the back of the pack. And why is that? Is because when you're at the back of the pack, you have the slipstream of 30 other trucks towing you along, making you the fastest vehicle in the field if you're at the back of the pack and you're in the lead pack.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. There's no wind pushing on the front of your truck, so you can put down plenty of speed because there's no resistance. But where there is resistance is up at the front, and where we need the biggest push is that second guy there. And you see Matthew Setzer there in the 5 truck pushing the back of the 45 of Villalobos as hard as he can on the outside, trying to get him clear of these Swift Racing guys on the inside. Not able to do it that time, though, but man, they get a big run off of all the turns and another big run down the straightaway. You see the 5 truck right on the back bumper of the 45.
Looks like the 45 still trying to push that outside lane, couldn't really get there. I mean, this is just gonna go on forever, isn't it, Emerson? As long as we don't get a caution flag. I mean, I'm happy to sit here and watch these 2 lines go at it. I mean, it's just gonna be a matter of time, as we mentioned before, to just a 3rd lane popping up. And well, when that happens, it's going to be a whole nother level, a whole nother story, as looks like right now Berger gets himself quite a nice lead to 45. Again, that top line just getting the best run on the exit, and this is just going to be back and forth throughout the race.
Absolutely. And so we save that now, but don't look too soon. We are on lap 14 of 90. Stage 1 is going to be scored at the completion of lap 18. We are less than 5 laps away now. We're looking at 4.5 laps left in stage number 1. Don't look too soon. If somebody gets a little feisty wanting some stage 1, how about Seth Fitzpatrick? He's in 11th place right now, but he is 13 points below the cut line coming into today's race. I can assure you, Seth Fitzpatrick, if he has a chance, he will not be content riding in 11th outside the stage points. Seth Fitzpatrick will want to work his way forward. The thing is, when and who's going to go with him, and where do you go? How about Villalobos side drafting through the trial all the way down on the inside lane, and now Setzer will break out of line. He will dump the 40, not dump, but he will leave the 45 of Julio Villalobos out to dry. That's going to stall the momentum of the outside lane. Now they're side by side and slowing each other down. The outside lane trying to power past the 45, but they're also working up against the outside wall.
Yeah, I think that Setzer got tired of trying to push the 45, realizing that he just was not getting to the front like he wanted to. He wants to get to the front. He thinks he can lead that line better. Drops down in front of the 45 along with the 25 of Eric Peck right behind him. Hopefully, maybe those two can put up a fight to these Swift Racing guys on the bottom who have just kind of kept it clean. They're not really pushing each other hard. They're just keeping it clean on the bottom, running good, fast laps, forcing that outside lane to be almost perfect. And man, Matthew Setzer, he takes that point position on the outside and he gets up to the front and leads that lap.
Yeah, exactly. This number 5 of Setzer got an absolutely great run and led that lap. And as you mentioned, Devin, that bottom line is just running consistently good. They're just sticking with themselves, essentially just pushing one and each other. And well, it has been working for the past 16 laps. It's gonna keep on working. The bottom line, the top line, albeit kind of scrubby at points. As you can see, some drivers darting out of the slipstream, some drivers trying to push a new lane. Sometimes might not happen. Might be strategy at this point. I'm not quite sure. The number 45, who was once leading that line, now falls back in line. Could that be field strategy, Emerson?
I don't know if it's field strategy. I think Villalobos, he's an aggressive driver. He wants to go to the front. I don't think he's a driver that's going to back off in the name of field strategy. I think he kind of got left there, and maybe Matthew Setzer was struggling trying to push him and felt maybe it's just faster. Maybe also Matthew Setzer, maybe he was just overheating. Maybe he just needed to get to the front so he can get clean air to the nose and cool that motor off before it blew up. So that could also have been a thing, but I think Setzer was trying to push Villalobos to the front so hard, and now Peck and Setzer are making some nice inroads on that outside lane as we come around to a lap and a third left in this stage.
Yeah, and you were talking about it, Emerson, the guys not wanting to blow the engine. I mean, the water temps can creep up very easily here because you're tucked that nose in right on the back bumper of the car in front of you, and it's really hard to get any air on the in the intake there to cool the engine, so it can overheat very, very easily, overheat the water temperatures, and once that happens, the engine will blow. Normally around right at, I think it's like 290, 280, maybe 310. If you're lucky that the engine will blow when the water temp is that high. So, yeah, it's one thing you really have to keep an eye at here with plate racing is not let those water temps get too high. We see the 25 duck out of line. He was possibly getting too high. He gets out of line, cool the engine off. But again, these Swift Racing guys, they're staying just off of each other enough to keep air on those noses of each one of those trucks, keep the air coming into the intake, keep it clean as we come here to the end of the stage.
The end of the stage 1 looks like it's going to be coming to the 77, as we do have quite a decent run on the top lane. Not going to be enough, so Berger gets some essential stage points. That's really going to help out, and obviously, as David and Emerson both pointed out, those water temps, those temperatures, those engines are going to be valuable to a lot of these drivers. So if you want a chance not only to get into the championship form, but obviously finish this race as well, you're going to have to think about it. The number 24 has been on the back bumper of the number 77 for a long, long time. We could be seeing him with some rising water temperatures. Could we see a new lane forming up for those drivers behind it?
Maybe. I don't see that vote. I know Landon Lacey has a lot of time on the sim. He's done a lot of this type of racing. It's not his favorite. He actually kind of hates this type of racing, but he understands how to do it. He knows how to get air to the nose of that truck, and he's going to do his best. Look at this run on the outside lane, though, between Bothwell and Seth Fitzpatrick's going to push that lane to the outside. They unfortunately were a lap too late if they were trying to get some better stage wins. I think, well, we just got confirmation here from league owner Adam Gardner what the stage points were there for the end of stage number 1. Stage 1 results: Seth Berger won the stage, Landon Lacey second, Max Service third, Brad Bothwell fourth, Joshua Balliet in fifth, Seth Fitzpatrick in sixth, Randall Barnett seventh, Jeremiah Stutzman, one of the playoff drivers, 9 points over the cut line coming into today's race. He's eighth. Julio Villalobos ninth, and importantly, Tyler Markle gets himself 1 point as well.
Yeah, those points are going to be ever so valuable, especially with how close this cut line is for the final 4. Seth Berger did what he needed to do there, got out front, led lots of laps, and got the stage win. That's going to help him get in front of Tyler Markle for the time being, but anything can change in a split second here. These guys still 2 by 2, the inside lane and the outside lane still trying to form. Inside lane looks pretty good right now. The outside lane trying to form up as best they can. A lot of guys, though, were trying to bail on these Swift Racing guys, got tired of riding behind them, but looks like that lane has formed up again. These Swift guys still out front at this moment in time. The outside lane kind of looking a little more disorganized now, as guys are like, I might need just to settle in now. So we'll see if we get to that stage of the race where we just kind of get to riding around here as we get to the kind of the meat and potatoes here in stage 2.
Just starting stage number 2, and as you mentioned, some of these guys might just be thinking about the long run, as we have both lanes. The number 25 trying to make it 3 wide. He does it for a little bit, maybe just getting some fresh air into that engine, might be popping back if the 75 allows it, as we do have a prime view of the number 42 of that happening. The number 25 is still kind of stuck on that top lane now. I mean, essentially that lane splitting between those 2 drivers, and well, it looks like the 75 just slots back in. And as you mentioned, the bottom line looks pretty stable. You know, obviously running the bottom line might be the easier line to run and just hug that yellow line, and well, everybody will follow you. The top line kind of has to react to it, but you know, it's also really, really sturdy. Now, these drivers obviously have to take extra, you know, care not to essentially hook other drivers, as we do have some drivers filtering it down as we're going 4 wide.
And nearly 4 wide there in front. They sorted out. I think Bothwell, I think he got his, you know, he had some fun up there, and now he said, all right, boys, it's time for me to bail out. And that could have been dangerous where he bailed out. He's now, fortunately, working his way down to the safe, well, if you call it safe, the safer end of the pack, where you know, there's a little bit more room to maneuver, not as many trucks around, and he can kind of, you know, reset his sights on what's going on in front of him. How about this driver into the mix? Driver of the number 33, James Gilliard, putting himself into the top 10. He's up in 7th. There he is, working to the inside of Julio Villalobos. James Gilliard now is the 5th truck on the inside lane, the first truck behind the Swift Racing trucks. Gilliard is one of those drivers who is very aggressive at these plate tracks. He knows he's got a lot of speed. He knows what he can do at these plate tracks, and he's going to make some moves that might not make others happy. And Gilliard is one driver to look out for if he's going to be moving his way forward. He's not in the playoffs. He's just here for pride, but I wouldn't count this 33 truck out of any chance doing this. I mean, you can't count anyone out, but James Gilliard is going to be one of those drivers to watch out for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is very aggressive at these plate tracks, which there's a time and place for that, especially when you're trying to make moves. You have to be aggressive. You have to be decisive. Any little hesitation at all could cost you a win, could cost you the race. It's just that fine of a detail between, you know, the drivers here. But the Swift Racing guys break out. Big gap there for a minute by the 33 truck. The outside lane just kind of died with Seth Fitzpatrick leading it. I'm not sure what happened there to the outside lane, but the inside lane is getting pretty clear now, and those Swift Racing guys are pretty comfortable looking out there at the front of this field.
Yeah, exactly. Those 4 cars, now everybody's kind of bunching up, but They absolutely shot off in formation. You know, such a nice sight to see. It kind of reminded me, Emerson. Obviously, you're gonna have a better head than me. When it happened on a Cup Series, a team, I couldn't remember the team, probably in 2018 or 2019, we saw a team absolutely flying off in Talladega on the early stages of the race. Kind of looked like it, but I mean, it didn't quite work so well. As looks like the top lane, still kind of sticking within that 5th, 6th position. But those 4, those 5, 6 drivers on the bottom lane absolutely darting off and securing those top spots.
I know exactly what you're talking about, JP. It was Stewart Haas Racing in 2018 at Talladega. I believe that was the year Eric Amarola won that race as well. Those 4, they hooked up on the inside lane and they were off. Here's a huge run with Matthew Setzer with Randall Barnett. It's going to kind of stall out. If Barnett can't get back to the tailgate of the 5 truck, they're going to try down the back. This may be a legitimate challenge for the lead. But while we got a moment, I also want to mention, well, no, we have the challenge for the lead. Barnett right up on the tailgate of Setzer into turn number 3.
Yeah, we've seen that 5 truck in this position before. He likes leading that outside lane. He's really fast up there, and he's been probably the best contender for these Swift Racing trucks so far in this race, as far as getting to the outside and being able to get right up to Seth Berger, who's leading that line. And I challenge him for the lead here, as there's a little bit of a break in the Swift Racing camp. They had to get out of line for a second, and that lets Matthew Setzer get up right beside Seth Berger. Not able to clear him just yet. It looked like he had a chance, but he did not take it. Stays right with the 63 on the outside lane, and the Swift Racing guys back in line and trying to push their way back on the bottom line again. Seth Berger comfortably back out into the lead as they head down the backstretch.
So it looks like we just have, just the top and the bottom lane are just going back and forth. Just one lane, Gats on top, Gats in front of the bottom lane just for it to come back. So this kind of makes it exciting lining up. Obviously, some of these drivers, they might be too early, Emerson, wouldn't it? To kind of just study the run and, just timing yourself, how, for the finish line. I'm pretty sure lap 30, lap 27 out of 90 might be too early, but, it could be good practice as the top lane with only 2 drivers now passes Seth Berger, kind of just trading itself off. Now it kind of just falls back in line again, but it's just going back and forth, isn't it? The number 63 now trying to get a push from the number 45 to trying to get back to that bottom lane, but those guys, those 4 drivers are rock solid down there.
Absolutely, and you said something there. It may be too early, but also it's time, if you're gonna experiment with runs or study the drivers around you. That would be the perfect time, this part of the race, because if you make a mistake, so you end up at the back of the pack, you have time to recover. But I want to say, there are people at the back of the pack that are studying what's going on in front of them, and it's this group. I couldn't even count how many there are. This group of drivers here, the Performance Sim Sport drivers. I think this line, they're all the way back here. Tyler Markle, Dark Horse Racing, and Performance Sim Sport are kind of in a little group right here. But we normally talk about Performance Sim Sport when we talk about these plate races. And they're always, they bring maybe 8-10 trucks with them sometimes. They stay at the back of the pack. But when it's go time, they all line up. They just shove each other right around the field. They go to the front, and they all kind of play defense. They all kind of keep away from everybody else. And they help the 2 drivers, that need the points. We saw this last season at Daytona in the playoffs. Joseph Causey needed to win to make the next round. He brought up his teammates. They came, they pushed him to the front, and he pretty much had 6 blockers like an NFL offensive line. It was truly a work of art. I'm a little jealous, I wish I had 6 blockers with me if I was at the front of a pack like that. But it's something that these drivers are doing, and they're studying what's going on in front of them. They're seeing who do we got to be careful of, who do we want to work with if we do end up getting split up. And that's what these drivers are doing. They're only a second behind, but they're looking, they're studying what's going on in front of them. Especially because I know Joseph Causey and Greg Holt. They have spent years and years on the sim. Greg Holt, I think it's 10 or 11 years on the sim. Greg Holt has done this stuff a lot. He knows what he's doing. He's studying, and he's playing his thing. They're just kind of waiting it out.
Yeah, they're just, like you said, they're just playing the waiting game. They sit there in a single file line, not really pushing their trucks to the limit, not really putting themselves in any danger at this point in time. And that's kind of their MO. That's what they're known for. They got their laps led, got that bonus point, and then fell to the back and kind of just sat there. And here comes Randall Barnett to the front, trying to challenge the 77 and Swift Racing. Now he's actually got clear.
Nearly.
He was for a second, nearly clear of the 77, but that Inside Lane fights back in the center of the turns. That's kind of where the Inside Lane makes up most of the speed. Down the straightaway, though, the 63 should be able to clear him this time. And we'll see if he dives down in front of the 77. Will he do it as they enter the turn? No, he stays to the outside. Stays with the guys who got him there for the time being. They're going to try and clear completely before they move down possibly, but just not able to do it at this point in time, but they'll have another chance down the front stretch.
Real quickly, before you go here, JP, I want to say, if in case y'all don't know, and I forgive y'all, because these drivers, these 4 drivers are lined up on the outside lane. They all kind of bide their time. They're not gonna go out there and blow you away, but they are consistent and they are trustworthy to race on. They're not gonna just all of a sudden make a mistake and wreck you. These 4 drivers, they are a team. This is Twisted Axle Racing. We don't normally mention them, but here they are. They have come out in full force today on the outside lane. 4 trucks, just like Swift Racing, which has to navigate a lap truck on the bottom side of the racetrack. That's Matthew Setzer. I believe Matthew Setzer has made a pit stop. But what's going on here is Twisted Axle Racing has 4 trucks. They're going right up against a powerhouse team in the Outlaws Sim Series of Swift Racing. And here comes Julio Villalobos making a pit stop. Swift Racing is making their pit stop. Where Randall Barnett, Andrew Pratt, Doug Solms, and Eric Peck, Team Twisted Axle Racing, they have came to play today here at the front of the field. Pit stops underway, though. Let's see what's going on.
And look at all 4 of those trucks right there. That's how you do it. Get on pit road together. Get your tires, get your fuel together. If you even get tires, you really don't need it. Seth misses pit box.
No.
Oh, that's going to hurt badly. He takes 2 tires here. Let's see, is he going to jack it up for 4? I don't think he will, but he missed his pit box. He's going to have to get out quickly if he wants to stay with his team. I don't think he's going to be there unless they kind of wait for him here. I think they did. I think they just checked up just a little bit. They know that they're faster as 4 than they are as 3. So they checked up and wait for a second, but that's going to cost all of them time on pit road. Oh, man, that's something you don't want to see here. But luckily it's on the first pit stop, not the second.
Yeah, exactly. He'll have plenty of time to get those laps, get the time back, not laps, get that time back. Luckily for him, he has an amazing team. As you mentioned, Evan, they all checked up for him, trying to get him back. Looks like they're going to go a lap down, maybe, as these drivers are going to be lining themselves up for pit entry within the next few laps. But, that small mistake can cost him a lot within the race. I mean, just such an easy mistake. Not a lot of brakes on these cars as they're pushing a lot of weight, as we mentioned before, Emerson. But, that small mistake can really cost. And it looks like that bottom line again feeding themselves up. Are they lining up for pit stops? Looks like we're going to have only 2 cars diving into pit stop this time by, as we do have a 5-car lane, 6-car lane on the bottom line.
2 teammates hit the pit lane of B&G Motorsports. Brad Bothwell, James Gilliard take to the pit lane, but they're pretty lonely. You don't want to be doing that all by yourselves. I know they're not alone, but that's not going to work really. You're going to need more than 2 trucks if you're really going to have a say. Hopefully, for their sake, they stay in the lead pack and maybe they're able to realign with somebody else later in the race. But tires going on this 31 of Brad Bothwell, and I'd imagine also teammate James Gilliard as well.
Yeah, it looks like they just take the right sides only. That seems to be a big call here, taking the right sides only under green flag pit stop. Some guys won't take tires at all. The tires just don't wear too much here at super speedways, so you can kind of get away with it. The truck does get a little free when you do that, but you can still control it fairly easily because it is a super speedway and it's just wide open the whole time. But like you said, Emerson, those Twisted Axle fellas still out here leading the way now. Man, they've put on a big show. I can't believe we haven't talked about them when they were all lined up. That is definitely a fault of ours, how they were able to do what Swift Racing did, get lined up together, get to the outside, and try and put up a fight for the lead. Now they are in the lead. They stay up there for a bit, but they're going to have to pit here soon. We'll see how much longer they stay out.
And Devin,
And
oh, sorry, go for it. My bad.
yeah, no, absolutely no problem. Just mentioning that's an exciting way to make us talk about them. Obviously, as Devin mentioned, it's our bad that we didn't mention them before, but coming on from absolutely, essentially nothing, nowhere, to just putting yourself in the lead, finding one of those big boy teams. As we do have more cars, looks like we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 cars diving into the pit lane. That's an amazing achievement, and let's not forget those guys, Swift Racing Team. They had to check on the pit entry, on the pit exit, so we could be seeing those guys maintaining the lead with an even bigger gap.
Absolutely. And you know what? If you're in the pack as long as possible, that's actually faster than short pitting. Normally you want to talk about short pitting, undercutting to get the advantage. But here at Talladega, because you're in a big pack of trucks and it's faster to run in that big pack, it's actually more beneficial to go longer in the race to make up time on your opponents, because you're going to be traveling at a higher rate of speed. 4 trucks, they're fast, but they're not 20 trucks fast. And you'll see here off the pit lane is a bunch of Performance Sim Sport trucks, about 9 of them, 10 of them, all coming off the pit lane. Greg Holt, actually the last of those trucks leaving the pit lane. He might be in trouble here. One of the drivers who, again, up there in points, he's got 29 points above the cut line, but he may be in trouble. He doesn't have much help around him.
Yeah, there's nobody there's nobody behind him. So yeah, if he can't catch up to the rest of his team as they're starting to get up to speed, he may be in trouble. He might lose that draft, and then you're just a sitting duck at that point. But I'm hearing over the radio the call that maybe Dark Horse Racing is now about to come in. You see, I think you were about to mention Devin Smith there. Emerson, he's Dark Horse Racing. He should be sitting in third now, and they're going to pit along with the rest of the group there. Twisted Axle, they all come down pit road. Can they make it pretty cleanly? It looks like it. Pretty good pit stop collaboration by these two teams, as we're going to see what they do on the pit stops. Hopefully no one makes a similar mistake that we saw Seth Berger make. Luckily his team was able to stay with him. And they're making a pretty good time right now. They were able to
Devin.
Front. Oh, and I just mentioned Devin Smith, and then he just slides through a pit box. But luckily, he was at the front of that pack. So if he's just taking 2 tires and fuel, he should be able to get out maybe in the middle of that pack, so it won't hurt him too much there. But we'll keep an eye out here where they come out as respect to was it the Twist or the Swift Racing guys here. As we see Max Service now leading the Swift Racing train, and they're going to come out. Man, they're going to be out in front here again, and these guys are going to have to catch them. Man, a great call and great strategy by the Swift Racing guys to put them back out in front at the end of the pit cycle. This Twisted Axle team is going to have some work to do. They didn't come off fairly good together, kind of split up, and some guys not able to stay in the main pack there, it looks like. So a lot of work to do here for the Twisted Axle fellas if they want to get back to the front.
Well, they did it one time. I'm pretty sure they can do it again. But as you mentioned, that was a fantastic effort from Swift Racing to get back on top. They're running absolutely pretty much the same way they were before. Obviously now Berger in second place, only the number 81 ahead of him. And well, looks like we're only gonna have one lane at this time. Looks like just as the bottom of your shot there, we had a slight glimpse at maybe the second lane forming up at the top lane, but not quite yet. As you can see there, further behind, we have a few cars on the top lane, but the bottom lane is absolutely dominant this part of the race, isn't it, Emerson?
Yes, and there's a truck blown up on the bottom side of the racetrack. We'll try to get who that is here in a second. But another important note, and why I'm not going to go to it right away, is because we're coming around to 1 lap to go in Stage 2. So stage points are up for grabs, and Performance Sim Sport is here. They might get ready to line up here, and they might try to take the stage points here. Stutzman leading the train. Here comes Kazi. Here comes Performance Sim Sport on that high lane. 1 lap to go in Stage 2. This stage is not settled.
No, it is not, and I know that the Swift Racing guys want to keep the pressure on and get Max Service a stage win. They got Seth Berger the stage win last time. They want Max Service to get a stage win this time to continue to secure their places in the finale of this season and the fastest four, the championship four for that final race. But they've got company. Here's Jeremiah Stutzman on the outside. He's the guy they're trying to beat. He's right there in third. He's the one they need to beat and get Max Service ahead of. Will they have the push to get them there? There's a big push from Bothwell on the outside, big push from Berger on the inside as they come to the end of stage 2.
Looks like the 81 got the better run. Can Stutzman do anything to number 71? Not quite. Looks like. Oh, did he get it? Oh, that was close. That may be too close to call. Emerson will have that call on that one, but those two landed the top lane. Came on the last lap to maybe spoil the party for Swift Racing. Definitely spoil the party for Berger. But boy, that was a close end. And well, if in that is 50 now, 48 laps, we can have more of the same. I'm not pretty sure I can handle it.
And we will get the official stage results from league owner Adam Gardner here in a few moments. But now what this is set up is 2 lanes, pretty much 2 powerhouse teams. Swift Racing, they don't have the numbers that Performance Sim Sport has, but they have the speed. Performance Sim Sport has had the stranglehold on the this season with 3 drivers up front. Actually, a lot of drivers are falling back in line. Looks like a lot of drivers are actually going to be content to ride around again, and maybe they'll try this again after the next round of pit stops. But it's going to be intriguing. Swift Racing, I know they're going to want to pit with each other, and I know, they pitted, at a reasonable time, but they're probably going to want to try to pit with Performance Sim Sport here, because if 4 trucks have to go against 9 or 10 is going to win out pretty easily. But we'll wait for the official stage results from Adam Gardner, and actually we've got them here. The official stage results there at the end of stage 2. Max Service wins that stage by 2/100ths of a second over Jeremiah Stutzman. Seth Berger third, Brad Bothwell fourth, Landon Lacey in fifth. For nearly 3 wide, and Seth Berger holds on to the lead, as I believe there was a little bit of a switch there in the Swift Racing camp to kind of cool the engines there, just because of how much work Seth had to put in to get Max that stage win. So Seth takes the lead, probably to cool the engine off in that Swift Racing camp. But anyway, Joseph Causey got 6th in the stage over Joshua Bally at 7th, Greg Hull 8th, Seth Fitzpatrick 9th, and Jason Miz rounding out the top 10. A wild end to stage 2 there.
Wild indeed, and that just shows what fireworks we might be expecting at the end of this race. Swift Racing again, all lined up on the bottom.
Look at this!
It looks like they're in the same configuration they were before, with Berger up front, Lacey behind him, Service, and then Balliet. That seemed to be their fastest kind of puzzle that they had put together. With all 4 trucks lined up the way they are now, this seems to be their fastest configuration. And they get back that way again after Max gets the stage win. So just some strategy here from all the teams. It looks like Performance Sim Sports just wanted to give everybody a glimpse of what they could do at the end of this race. But Swift Racing able to hold on that time. Now they know what they're up against. Will they be able to put on the defense when it comes to the end of the race?
That's going to be the big money question, if they can hold this until the end of the race. And as you mentioned, what kind of defense do you pull against it on a super speedway? Do they sacrifice one of those cars to block the top lane? Emerson, you can help me out on this one. What is the strategy to defend on it?
It's hard. The biggest way you would be able to defend with a run like that is just to have the numbers advantage. But of course, when you're at it like this, that's hard to come by. The way you're probably going to get that numbers advantage is probably aligning with other teams, like B&G Motorsports right there, 5th and 6th. They're right behind Swift Racing. Maybe they make a call, or I say call. Maybe they say over driver's chat like, "Hey, I'm with you," and maybe then it's a 6-truck kind of group trying to work against an 8-truck group, and then you have a better chance at that. Blocking, it's risky, but you're probably going to need not 1, but you're probably going to need 2 drivers to go and block. Because if you go and block that middle lane, they're going to go all the way up to the high side, and they're going to kind of blow right by them, and now you're gonna lose a teammate, and they're gonna have a better run, and they're gonna have a more of a numbers advantage because you lose a teammate. So if you're gonna do that kind of block, you're probably gonna need 2 drivers to go out there and block. But even then, that's risky business. That could cause an accident. As Devin Smith goes fastest. Devin Smith, he is in this pack, by the way. And I was gonna say, look at this, because we got Dark Horse Racing and Twisted Axle in this group with Performance Sim Sport, Swift Racing, and B&G Motorsports. 5 prominent teams up here, maybe 6 actually. I have to give the due credit to Last Chance Racing with Seth Fitzpatrick and John Mickey. They lost their teammate Matt Rogers early in the race. So 6 prominent teams here in this Outlaws Sim Series, and all 6 in this lead pack.
Yeah, Twisted Axle was able to regain their status here as they're working that top line with Seth Fitzpatrick at the moment. But they were able to regain their spots together and get back to the front of this field after kind of a disorganized exit from pit road. Wonder if that would hurt them. It does look like they lost Doug Solms in that exchange. He was not able to stay with the pack. He is now dropped off the lead pack. It's kind of running by himself like the 45 truck is that they're approaching, and those trucks aren't damaged or slow by any means. They're just not in a pack, so they're not running at the full speed that you need to be at these super speedways. So these guys are going to blow right by them like a freight train here, and it's 3 wide in the middle of this pack, almost 4 wide looking there for a second, and we're approaching the 45. This is getting interesting very quickly.
Exactly, having nearly 4 wide situation, I mean, essentially at the halfway point of the racetrack, could be interesting. It could be a sign for things to come as the top lane kind of gets a little confused on who's going where. It looks like it's going to all filter out to 2 lanes at the bottom and the top, as we do have, looks like a lapped car just dropping by like a fly. Absolutely no help, no slipstream, nothing whatsoever. You just have the absolutely deficit of the speed. But it looks like the top lane has filtered itself out and is trying to pose a challenge to the bottom lane.
Absolutely, and again, working past the lap traffic, that was huge. But I think that's Dark Horse Racing with Kyle Lingerfeld. He's bringing the 98 of Theron Elam, the 95 of Devin Smith, and the lap vehicle there, that's the 55 of Jesse Adams. They're trying to line up 4 of their trucks on the outside lane and see if they can make a run at it. I don't know why they wouldn't maybe make a call there with Last Chance Racing to try to see if they want to go with them, or maybe they want to lead that outside lane. But what's going on here is the discrepancy in that outside lane is backing them up big time, nearly in the wall. Maybe they did get the wall there with Lingerfeld. That could be huge. 3 wide once again. Now popping all the way to the top side is the 63 of Randall Barnett. He keeps it planted in the middle lane. Swift Racing is loving all of this.
They are, and if the 65 got the wall there, his teammate dives underneath of him, so he might have got the wall. That is going to hurt Lingerfeld's chances significantly in this race. It is so aerodynamically, even though these trucks aren't really aerodynamic by any means, but any little sheet metal damage at all will just destroy the drafts and the runs that you can get, especially if you're the lead car in the pack. So Theron Elam dives to the inside of his teammate, takes over the lead pack of Dark Horse Racing. He runs right back up to the back of Seth Fitzpatrick now, and they continue pushing that outside lane. They are going to be challenging again as there's a spin through the middle.
Oh, hard into the inside wall. One of the trucks go losing touch with the lead pack there, and that's going to be day over for whoever that may be.
It's Villalobos.
Oh, no, it's a lap vehicle of Julio Villalobos.
Unfortunately for him, that was a massive impact. And it looks like we do have a car darting into pit lane.
Caution on the speedway.
The caution comes out. What a big hit. Unfortunately for him, that's race over.
And we're going to get a replay here. What happened to bring out the second caution of the evening. Big impact there for Julio Villalobos. We're going to try to figure out what happened there. And we saw a lot of it live, but we'll see exactly what happened. And, oh no, somebody caught the wall from the outside. We're going to catch it late there now. Alright, I think we're going to have it queued up here. Alright, having a little bit of a moment there with the replay, but here's Villalobos. This is going to be coming around a lap prior in that 45 truck. You'll see kind of everybody scatter here. Villalobos, he's just, I mean, he's a couple laps down. He's trying to stay in this in case something like this happens, a caution happens, and he can get himself back into the mix. But here's Villalobos in that 45 truck who has now left the session. His day is over. And you see the 69 on the high side there. You know, he was also a lap down, by the way. And he was trying to give way, and I think maybe just lost focus. And that's going to do it. And he got clipped by somebody else, and bam, what a hit.
Yeah, that's engine damage, front end damage, rear damage, everything. So yeah, Julio Villalobos' night is done. The 69, yeah, just clipped the wall, kind of similar to what we saw Lingerfeld possibly do earlier. And yeah, man, that's what can happen. I mean, you know, just one little lapse of judgment, one little mistake can cost you or somebody else significantly here at these super speedways. And a couple trucks stay out, but looks like everybody else is going to train down pit road here. I don't think they can make it the rest of the way. So this is just going to be to set up one more pit stop that they're going to have to make.
Exactly. This might be one of the last times it looks like Berger came down in pit lane. Luckily for him, didn't overshoot. Looks like the rest of the field also comes down. So those four, the top four drivers, obviously the Swift Motorsport drivers, definitely are they coming out at the same time? It looks like Berger came out way ahead of them. So did they take tires?
Yeah, we'll get confirmation on that. The one driver to stay out was the 71 of Jeremiah Stutzman, and I know exactly what he is doing. He is out here, and he's getting that bonus point for leading a lap, and he's going to pit this time around. I think he's going to try to get it cleared. He's going to pit this time around and fall his way back to the back of the pack, maybe, or he might stay up here because everybody still has to pit. But Jeremiah Stutzman is here to lead a lap and get that bonus point. But we are going to take a step aside here, and we're going to take a moment here, catch our breath, you know, just a little bit past halfway, and we'll gear up for the final call to the end. Don't you go anywhere.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
SoundArt introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. SoundArt ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20, and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. We're getting ready to get back to racing here, and on the front row, it is Seth Berger, who was elected the outside lane, and now there is no choose rule, but this is allowed. You are allowed to choose the lane if you are the leader. He chose the outside lane, Landon Lacey's to his inside, and they're going to try to get these four Swift trucks lined up with everybody else, and here we go. We're going to be going green here with 35 laps to go, and we are back to racing here at Talladega. Up front, Seth Berger has Landon Lacey in tow, and they have broken away pretty much from the rest of this field. Everybody kind of jostling for position. Nobody else really organized or getting lined up. Seth Fitzpatrick, James Gillier, Brad Bothwell, Joseph Causey. I think the Performance Sim Sport boys may actually take a moment here and get lined up a little sooner than they want to be to kind of catch up with everybody. And there was a glitch there at the top of the timing and scoring tower that has since corrected. We are on lap 56 of 90, and you'll notice that we do have our identifying car numbers. Again, the drivers with white backgrounds and orange numbers are the playoff drivers. The drivers with orange backgrounds and white numbers are non-playoff drivers.
Yeah, it's good to have that back. You can kind of see where everybody's at. What you need to know is Swift Racing still up at the front of this field, followed by the 2 and the 33. They've kind of broken away a bit from Brad Bothwell, just a hair. But man, those Swift Racing guys really worked that restart to perfection. We're able to get the outside lane guys down to the inside without anybody getting trapped or losing really a position. They're kind of just lined up in the same way they've always been for most of the race. The Twisted Axle fellas and the Dark Horse Racing fellas a little further back trying to get lined up. Sim Sports guys trying to get lined up. Everybody trying to put themselves in a position that they want to be for the end of this race. We do have another pit stop, like we said. You can't make it to the end, but this is kind of where you got to get set up to get there and put yourself in the position you want to be so you don't lose touch when pit stops do happen.
Exactly, you do have to be close up because we saw the speed difference. If you kind of just lose touch, looks like, as you can see, the top four essentially just breaking away, nearly 0.3 of a second, the gap between 4th and 5th place. Not quite enough to break free, but I mean, you can already maybe start to feel the difference, you know, the gap between those two, you know, just kind of losing touch to one another, and it could cost in the long run. So as Devin mentioned, you know, you do have to be close by on the pit stop cycle. If not, you're gonna have to essentially underfuel the car, you know, take a different strategy to make sure you stay close to your rivals, because otherwise the speed difference is gonna be way too much. As looks like, look at this, look at the run at the top lane, look at the run that Joseph Causey got on the top lane. He's gonna be trying to make it work, quite far away from the number 2, but definitely getting that push. Is going to be going further and further, but the bottom lane just kind of strikes ahead, and there you go, top lane back on it.
Here we go. This is it. It is go time for Performance Sim Sport. Jason Miz locked on to the tailgate of the 88 of Joseph Causey. They're towing along Greg Holt, and last season's opening Talladega race winner Garrett Velzy makes his return to the series, return to the mix, and he's up here. Garrett Velzy maybe trying to get himself a second Dega win in as many seasons.
Yeah, it's Performance Sim Sports versus Swift Racing. This is what these two Juggernauts teams have been doing for most of the season. Most of the wins are between these two teams. Most of them, the majority, on the outside lane there with Performance Sim Sports. But Swift Racing, they know that they can really put the hammer down here with 4 trucks lined up together against pretty much about 4 trucks for Performance Sim Sports. Performance Sim Sports not able to bring the trucks with them, and we have cars sliding through the infield.
Oh no, wrecking in the back. James Gilliard going around. Garrett Velzy also involved. And the third caution of the evening will fly. Garrett Velzy's rear end is all torn up. James Gilliard looks like he got away with minimal right front damage. But we'll grab a replay and we'll see what happened. So this is going to happen here. Garrett Velzy on the high side. He's got Devin Smith pushing him. Devin Smith clips Garrett Velzy the wrong way. Around goes Gilliard. They both got really lucky that they didn't collect anyone else. Garrett Velzy got a pit lane penalty, a pit lane violation there. That race control will clear, and all will be well in that regards. But we'll see what happened one more time. We're right on board with the 95 of Devin Smith in this accident as well.
I was going to say, it looks like a case of there was a checkup, and then the 95 just kind of clipped the 48. Yeah, exactly, right there. A little bit of a checkup, and the 48 just got clipped by the 95. Just got him in the wrong spot in the tri-oval. The truck can get really loose right there, especially when you're back in the pack, and just turns it. Nothing really either driver did wrong. Just pack racing. That's the nature of the beast. What can happen here, especially when there's some checkups and other things. But this is a lot better, Emerson. This is where they can make it to the end, I think, now.
Yes, sir, they can make it here to the end on fuel. JP, final round of pit stops, and this is going to set the stage here.
This could be all nothing essentially for some of these guys. A small mistake here could cost you a lot on the long run, those final 30 laps. As you can see, just a quick dash of fuel for the number 77. Oh, does he lose the lead?
Well, Devin Smith actually drove through the pit lane. I want to know if he got a stop time there. I don't think Devin Smith stopped in the pit box. He might have missed his box. But Joseph Causey takes the lead on pit exit. Out of everybody else, I believe Devin Smith's going to come back down. But what has gone on here, though, is Swift Racing is still second, third, fourth, and fifth in the running order. So this is huge. Causey takes control of the race, with Swift Racing still lined up. Joseph Causey, his teammates, nowhere to be found, seemingly.
Yeah, but what this does, it gives Causey the bottom, so he can kind of put a little bit of a damper on what Swift Racing would want to do if they were able to get lined up again. We saw how perfectly they executed it last time. This time they're going to have to do something similar. But there is a different strategy that you can take here, something that I've seen done before when a car is leading the race and another team is lined up behind them. Is you kind of let them get out, start the race, let them get out on their own, get yourself lined up with your teammates, and then you just sucker hole them.
Well, that's going to be I have never seen that. It would be a shocker for me if I saw that one coming. It would be a great example of teamwork. Could we see something like that happening tonight?
If Joseph Causey was a less experienced driver and not as good as he is, I'd say definitely. But I think Joseph Causey, if he started to pull a big gap, he would start to realize it, and he would kind of moderate that gap. But maybe, what if he realizes too late? Who knows? He's good, he's got experience, but he's not perfect. Anything can, and almost anything will happen at a track like Talladega. By the way, guys, we still have yet to have a big wreck, and Causey has hit the pit lane!
I think he realized it, Emerson. I think he realized that his teammates were too far behind him to where they could really impact him. All the Performance Sim Sports comes back down again.
All back. They're going to all get lined up at the back of the pack. And they're all going to try to form a line, wait it out a little bit, if there's going to be a wreck happening, let that happen, and then have go time. But what that does do is that the Swift Racing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Seth Fitzpatrick is in 5th, but we still have a Performance Sim Sport truck and Jason Miz up there in 6th. Then we have Ben Park and Farron Eliam Jr., a couple Dark Horse trucks there, 7th and 8th with Tyler Markle, 9th. Another Performance Sim Sport truck, Andrew Schroeder in 10th. There's a lot of Dark Horse trucks around him, though. We got also Joshua Lane Fox, Kyle Lingerfeld behind him, 2 more Dark Horse trucks there. James Gilliard there in 13th, and then the absolute line off the pit lane.
Yeah, they really set themselves up here. We're kind of seeing the team dynamics take place like we've been seeing all race long. We'll probably see another executed, choreographed start from Swift Racing up front to get themselves lined up and prepare for the battle that'll be coming their way. We don't know when that's going to come. Performance Sim Sports a little bit further back. They're going to have to get lined up, and then they'll probably try to make their push. But we're less than 30 laps to go, so it's getting really close to go time, to where you need to put yourself in the front, get yourself up there to have a chance to win this race. Swift Racing has put themselves in the position for most of this race, and they just hope to keep it.
I was just gonna mention that if you're looking for the best place possible, those 4 cars, that team Swift Motorsports is one of the absolutely best place you can be. They're leading the race. They have been leading for the longest time, and they just look comfortable. Just being there all race long. So if they can keep this up, they're probably the best shot at winning the race. They have the best shot at winning the race.
We're going to find out. A quick shout out to all of our partners here at Pit Stop TV, Tucson Sound, Permanent Makeup and Cryo Main, Whiplash Media, and BAM Racing Videos. The iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety in the pit lane. It'll give the field back into the hands of the 77 last season's champion Seth Berger, trying to put himself in this season's championship 4. He has 3 teammates around him, but you know what he also has? 28 laps of racing left. We're green at Talladega. Swift Racing all aligned on the inside of the racetrack. Jason Miz now trying to see what he can do with a few Dark Horse race trucks up on the high side. Kazi, Holt also make their way to the outside. They're probably going to try to get something rolling here. And we'll see if any more Performance Sim Sport trucks try to jump up there. Is this the time that Performance Sim Sport determines is their time to go out there and take control of this race?
It could well be they bump Elam out of the way, get him moved. Now they're up with Ben Park. He's the only truck that is not a Performance Sim Sports in the top lane right now. And he's leaving the door open, and Kazi takes it now. Kazi pushes him 3 wide. They're trying to get lined up, forcing and bullying their way through there. Park has to make room. He loses a lot of spots in the process, and Performance Sim Sports is lined up, but then they have Seth Fitzpatrick who jumps out of line. He says, if you guys are going to the front, I want to go with you.
Well, watch this. Sorry, go for it.
Go for it, Emerson.
If they get a large run here, they might just freight train Seth Fitzpatrick right here. And here it is. Jason Miz to the high side. Seth Fitzpatrick's going to get sucker hold here in the middle. He's going to try to get some help. There's Andrew Schroeder trying to jump up and give some manpower to the high side. Go for it, JP.
I was just going to mention that if they have enough momentum, they're just going to create another lane and essentially get it through, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what you said. So Fitzpatrick was running a comfortable position within the top 5, now kind of just dropping away, and as you can see, just kind of filtering himself back out. Oh, as we do have a car. I'm not quite, is that the 88? Kind of just aggressively filtering himself into the top lane, and now, well, 2 lanes fixated within 25 laps to go.
Yeah, that's what we call the sucker hole there, JP. The 2 pulled out to try and get in front of that line that was going to make a run, and they just went around him, and he got trapped in the middle with no help. That's what we refer to on super speedways as the sucker hole, where you just kind of get trained. Luckily for him, he was able to get some help from it was Andrew Schroeder there a bit, gave him some draft, and he was able to keep up and actually stall out that outside lane. But now they are pushing to the front. Andrew Schroeder battling for the lead with Seth Berger.
And the thing is, Andrew Schroeder is also one. Oh, and they're going to get hooked! And into the middle of the pack. Schroeder's going to collect Pratt. There's a lot of right front damage for Seth Berger. Oh, no. More trucks involved. Ben Park involved. And day is over for Andrew Schroeder.
Some aggressive pushing there up front is what led to this. Looks like the two really aggressively pushing Andrew Schroeder to try and get him out in front of Swift Racing, and just hooked him to the left, right into the door or right quarter panel of Seth Berger as they came off the turn. And man, Seth, great job holding that truck. Great job holding that truck.
Oh my god!
I was just gonna mention that. They just keeps on going. But yeah, as you mentioned, Berger, I mean, I don't know how that truck kept pointing in the right direction. I wonder if he has, enough damage to slow him down substantially in the race. As we're going to take another look from the onboard right now. I mean, that was just such a massive hit. As you can see, just an onboard from the number 66. As looks like they're entering turn 3. Is that right, Emerson?
This is turn 2. They're coming through right here.
As you can see, coming out of turn 2 onto the back straight. As you can see, just kind of side swipe. Can he avoid everything? Oh, he did.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. What an avoidance there for Joshua Land Fox. I picked him specifically because I saw that out of the corner of my eye that he was one of those trucks that narrowly got away without damage. Trent Elam, unfortunately, another driver who got some big-time damage in this race. We'll try to see here. From this camera, we'll see kind of what happens. You'll see up ahead. This may not actually be the view, but we'll roll with it. I'll change my mind. We're going to go here. Well, up above the back straight or grandstands, you see the hook there. Miz and Schroeder, they collect Pratt. And, I mean, these guys, they're trying to get Woe down, and just right in front of Elam, nowhere to go. Barnett gets a big hit there. Park goes around. Park looks okay. That truck looks salvageable. The purple and yellow truck back there. Man, but I mean, is that the big one? I mean, that was only a handful of trucks, but that, it was the biggest wreck of the day.
Biggest wreck of the day, but probably not the big one. I think that one's still coming. A bunch of trucks pit here. Looks like the Performance Sim Sports guys now have the upper hand. Seth Berger had to get damage repaired on that right front if he wants to have any shot at all. Looks like he's going to get off now. I believe his teammates are just up the road in front of him. And yeah, they're just up the road in front of him. But it's Performance Sim Sports now, the team to beat. They're up at the front. Greg Holt stayed out. Causey's the first one off pit road. He's got a couple of teammates behind him. Actually, he doesn't. I'm sorry. I was looking at got paint schemes confused, but Swift Racing's right behind him there. Bayet and Max Service. And then it looks like the rest of his team is just a little bit further back.
I want to talk to somebody under this caution, and it's the driver who probably had one of the wildest views of that incident, Joshua Land Fox. How did you make it through that, buddy?
Yeah, that was pretty gnarly, that truck coming across my nose like that. I saw him coming down from the top sideways, and the best I could do was just hope and pray that I didn't hit him. Check up a lot there, and luckily we made it through it.
Luckily is an understatement. My goodness. Is there any more luck in that 66 truck? Should anything else like that happen, or?
Yeah, let's hope so. I had my fun up front right there. I'm gonna drop to the back now, and I want to ride around again.
But that's kind of precede my next question anyway. What's the game plan for these final 21 laps when we get back to racing? You say you're gonna drop back. How long are you gonna be back there? What lap is the go time for you?
15 to go.
Okay, so you're gonna be back there for about 5 laps. I like it. Kind of
10, 15 to go. Something
steady
like that.
the field, coming down for, I guess, an extra top off of fuel, and just make sure you're back there. Your race so far, you've been all the way throughout the field. Actually, you've been as high as 8th, at least, across the start-finish line. What's the racing been like up there? It looked like a lot of team-based racing. We've seen Performance Sim Sports Swift racing up there. You guys at Dark Horse Racing have gotten a nice little group in the middle of the pack here. Nice, hearty field group that stays together. What's the team dynamic been like out there?
I mean, everybody on Dark Horse has been very good at communicating. We're just all out there trying to help Tyler and get him a good finish and hopefully get him points for the next round or whatever. But yeah, that's basically what it is. None of us are really going to win. We're just trying to push that 42 truck.
We heard it there. Dark Horse Racing all rallying behind Tyler Markle, trying to get into the championship 4. All right, Josh, we're going to give you a shout out. We got a shout out. Thank you. We're going to thank, for that, I guess, lucky avoidance there in that wreck.
Yeah. Shout out to Dark Horse Racing, everybody watching. Hope you're enjoying the show. It's going to get crazy here in a little bit.
Absolutely. Driver of the number 66, Joshua Land Fox. And taking it to the back, there's only 19 trucks on the lead lap. Jason Miz is one of those trucks. He was technically the cause of the incident, so he's going to get EOL'd. The EOL penalty from race control for causing that incident. And now let's reset the front of the field. It's Seth Fitzpatrick, who's actually the leader. Greg Holt, second. Joseph Causey, third. Joshua Balliet in fourth. Max Service, fifth. Randall Barnett, sixth. Tyler Markle, seventh. Garrett Velsey, eighth. Devin Smith, ninth. Landon Lacey, 10th. The rest of the lead lap, Joshua Gaffright, 11th. Seth Berger, who had to get damage repaired there, in 12th. Brad Bothwell in 13th. Kyle Lingerfeld, 14th. Jeremiah Stutzman, 15th. Doug Solm, 16th. Joshua Lane Fox, 17th. Jason Miz, 18th. Benjamin Park, 19th. Last truck on the lead lap. Out of the race, Andrew Pratt, Theron Elam, Jesse Adams, Matthew Setzer, John Mickey, Julio Villalobos, Eric Peck, Andrew St. Cour, Jeremy C. Poole, also out Gilliard, Schroeder, and Matt Rogers. So that means there's actually only 19 trucks running, and they're all there in frame. 21 laps to go. The field in the hands of the two of Seth Fitzpatrick, who was severely under the cut line coming into today's race. We're back to racing at Talladega. Around the outside, Greg Holt and Joseph Causey work their way to the front. Balliet, Service, trying to follow suit. Now they're up on the high side. There's not too much help behind them. Joshua Gaffright, a Performance Sim Sport truck, the only other truck up on that high side. What's going to happen to these Swift Motorsport trucks with only two of them?
They're going to fall back pretty quickly here. Their other two teammates there are up on the high side as well, trying to get up to Gaffright. And not Gathray, but Bothwell, and push Bothwell up to the rest of their team here, so that way they can have 5 trucks. There's a truck that thought about getting up in front. Marco gets up in front of them, and now we've got 6 trucks up on that outside line. Should be good if they can get lined up, get there behind Max Service. He's coming. He's going to be there. They'll have to run as they come off of 4.
The numbers advantage to the outside, JP.
Exactly, the numbers, well, the outside lane is looking a little bit better. They just have to get the momentum right to essentially shoot themselves back up into the top. And well, I'm not pretty sure which lane might be preferable to Swift Sport, Motorsport, but well, they're making it work on the outside lane. They were making it work on the bottom lane, so those cars look comfortable, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Holt and Balliet won't be giving those positions up. Sorry, Holt and Causey won't be giving those positions up in the bottom so easily.
A valuable addition to that outside lane is former Swift Racing driver Tyler Markle, who still has very good ties with Swift Racing, racing for Dark Horse Racing this season. Tyler Markle joining his former teammates on the high side. Brad Boffa up there as well from B&G Motorsports, and then 2 more Swift trucks, making up 6 trucks on the outside. Now, Devin Smith, Kyle Lingerfeld, they're jumping up on the outside. It's an alliance between Swift Racing and Dark Horse Racing on the high side, and it is 2 Performance Sim Sport trucks with Seth Fitzpatrick and Randall Barnett behind. It is a massive numbers advantage to the outside lane.
Massive is an understatement here. It is almost 8 trucks versus 4, double the amount of trucks on the outside lane versus the inside lane. Malenko, I call him Malenko, but Joshua Payette, big advantage here. Still is not able to clear just yet, but if he just hangs with it, gets a great push here off the turn from Max Service, he should be able to clear him. Oh, and there's a little bit of a dart there from Seth Berger. He darts out of line, puts Brad Bothwell in the middle, 3 wide as they go to enter turn 3.
This might be all or nothing, going 3 wide. That's going to get tied. Any mistake right there could cost him his car, essentially. But it looks like he's just going to be left out alone. No, he falls back in line to the top lane. So we go back to only 2 lanes, the bottom and the top. No middle lane at this time by. But still, the dominance, as we do have another car darting to the 3rd lane. He's going to have cars following him. Is that Berger?
That is Seth Berger trying to get lined up with his teammates. They're going to the front. Landon Lacey, an amazing push. 3 wide for the race lead. Performance Sim Sport on the inside. And double wide Swift Racing on the outside. Tyler Markle now follows Lacey. He's got help of Lingerfeld. Devin Smith now goes to the middle lane with 15 laps to go. We're 3 by 3 at Talladega.
They are 3 by 3. This is the time it is.
And there they go. Lingerfeld's going around.
Markle's in it.
They saved Lingerfeld. Big hit. Oh, no.
Oh, that's a caution. Big caution here. And the Dark Horse guys are the ones who lose out big time. They said they were going to help the 42 truck, and the 42 truck is the one that ends up going around.
A lot went on there. We're going to try to see what exactly happened and what caused it, other than, very aggressive racing. And, Tyler caught the wall.
Oh, he just got the wall, man.
Trying to save it. Oh, he gets hit by Devin Smith. Lingerfeld, big hit into Randall Barnett. Looks like only a 2-truck incident. Weeding the field out little by little, but that'll do it for Kyle Lingerfeld tonight.
Yeah, really unfortunate. The alliance there, the 8-car line of Dark Horse and Swift Racing was working very well. They had locked out that outside line and the middle line, and man, just a 1 lapse of judgment. That's kind of what we've seen, the lapse of concentration, the lapse of judgment for one driver just kind of ends up costing the race, costing possibly the playoffs in the 42 trucks concern there. I mean, it's just such a tightrope that you have to walk here at super speedways. I was telling Emerson during the break, I like calling these races more than I like driving them, because I am white knuckling the wheel the entire time at super speedways. It's just what you have to do. Oh, big hit by Doug Solms. Unfortunate for him in the Tim Hortons truck there, but man, it's just what you have to do with these tracks. You're white knuckle, you're on edge the entire time. You think it'd be easy, just full throttle driving around in a circle, but it is anything but.
Exactly, anything but. Obviously, from road racing perspective, once you look on top of it, it's quite simple. I mean, you just have to hold down the throttle and turn left. But as soon as you get in that position, you realize there's a lot of things differently. And I mean, the racing can just change. The race itself can change within a fraction of a second, which is exactly what happened twice already. And well, unfortunately, both of those times, you just have cars that are not coming back to the race. As I mentioned right now, the number 2, unfortunately, that's the end of his race. And I mean, that's how quickly it can change. You know, from something that looks so simple, it gets really complex. And I mean, it does get really, really complex. And I mean, it's exciting as well. Unfortunately for the number 42, too exciting way before the end of the race.
It's not over yet for Tyler Markle, but it's not looking good. That's not race-ending damage, but he's going to need some help if he's going to be competitive. And remember, Dark Horse Racing is going to rally around him. If he can get that truck back out there, and if it's going to have any sort of horsepower under it, and, you know, the jack comes down, I think a lot of that damage got repaired, and I think he's going to be down and away here. Tyler Markle may still have something with it. He's going to have Dark Horse Racing rallying behind him as well, and it's going to be something to watch. Now, there was something here. We're going to have a moment here. I want to bring up driver of the number 81 and kind of get his perspective and see what happened there from your perspective, Max, and everything that went down there, and essentially Swift Racing getting split up and taking it 3 wide amongst each other.
Yeah, it was a little chaotic there. Ultimately, Seth and Lacey have been working real good together all race. And me and Mal have just been kind of following along here, but I mean, they took it 3 wide. They had to run. No sense us pulling up. You know, we weren't pushing very hard there. You know, too early, I think, still to push real hard. We were side drafting pretty good, but we'll see what happens here. I think we set ourselves up really good. Me and Seth had really good stage points, but we got to finish good now and set ourselves up real good for Bristol, and then we have a good shot.
Absolutely. Real quick, from your perspective, you were kind of second car in the middle lane. What did you see from that incident?
I saw Markle hit the wall, I think, and then it was on from there, and then it was just kind of focus forward and try and figure out where I'm going to be on this next restart, because that's kind of important here, and I'm not exactly sitting in a place I'd like to sit, but we're going to try and do something. We're going to try and get hooked up with the Swift boys here. We got Mal and me on the inside here, and Seth and Lacey on the outside, so we'll see what happens. We're thinking Greg and Kazi are definitely going to go early here just to clear down so they can work together, because they were working real good, and of course they're teammates, but it depends on a lot of things here. We're going to go with the flow, but the goal is to be together and hopefully finish 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right on. Well, there you hear it from Max Service. Max, we'll give you the floor here to shout out. Have you got a shout out? Thank you. Ever got to thank for putting you in this position so far with the stage points and the laps led and all that jazz. Getting down to the nitty gritty here at Dega. Who you got a shout out?
I got to start with the Swift boys. Lacey for the set. Lacey for most of the teamwork. Lacey for calling out when my pit box is, because he's put it right before me. Because as we all know, I can't find a pit box, and the sign on this paint scheme is blue, just base color. So Lacey's put it right before me, and he's been calling out where my pit box is all race. So this has been great. I don't have to look too hard for it.
All right, Max, we'll leave you to it. Best luck to your driver in these waning laps at Talladega.
Thank you.
Driver of the number 81 Max Service. And that's great. I always love interviewing Max. He always gives some amazing interviews. But here we go. We're doubled up, ready to go. There's 18 trucks on the lead lap. 17 are queued up here. Doug Solms is halfway down the back straightaway trying to get caught up here. The iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety in the pit lane. And let's watch. Max Service said that Holt and Kazi are probably going to go relatively early. Let's see if that happens. Still holding pace speed, holding the and they're going now. Green flag is back in the air. We're racing once again at Talladega. Can they get each other clear? The answer, yes, they did get each other cleared down to the bottom side, and now it is 3 Swift trucks, now 4, and Brad Bothwell on the high side trying to make something of it, and it's only the 2 Performance Sim Sport trucks, but 2 of the most experienced drivers in the field are nose to tail on the bottom side of the racetrack, but 4 drivers who've worked really well all race, with the addition of Brad Bothwell up there. is going to give him a huge advantage to the center of the triangle. Seth Berger, with all of that damage on that race truck, will take the lead at the line. He's not clear to the lead.
Yeah, he's not clear yet, but he's going to stay up there with his teammates. They've got him to this position. They're going to keep him there in this position, but it is Swift Racing versus Performance Sim Sports again. We said it at the top, I believe, that it might come down to these two teams, and again, it is, but don't rule out any of these other teams. Brad Bothwell is sitting right there in a perfect position to take advantage of any mistake. Tyler Markle able to get his damage fixed. He's not up there per se, but he is kind of just hanging back, waiting for anything to happen so he can take a gander at possibly stealing a win here. And you still got some guys who are not in the playoff. Garrett Velzy's still there. Randall Barnett's still there. It is anybody's race from this point forward as we're getting down to about 10 to go. Or sorry, it's 11 to go. My fault.
Yeah, as we're approaching that point in time, as you mentioned, it's a battle of the Titans. Those two teams are they're gonna throw everything on one another. It's just gonna be a question of who can keep the smoothest line possible, who can achieve the highest top speed. And it's just gonna come down, as you mentioned, with 11 laps to go. This is just gonna keep going on and on and on. Emerson, is there anything a team can do to stop the other from winning? Is there a block maybe they can throw, just sneak it into the other guy's lane? What can they do?
At this point, they're set up pretty much. If the race stays green, this is probably how it's going to end. Double wide up until the run out of turn 4. But at that, Joseph Causey, Greg Holt, their only chance here is they gotta get Seth Fitzpatrick aligned with them. And the hard thing is, Seth Fitzpatrick, though he's right there behind him, remember, he's the last driver to playoff standings. Is he really going to work with other playoff drivers when he's got other options around him? It's going to be intriguing to see what happens, and if he stays put, is his better chance to stay put on that third lane? It's gonna be a lot of who can you get with you, because those four on the outside, they can get lined up. Their disadvantage is they're taking the longer way around the racetrack.
Yeah, they're taking the longer way around, but they can get big runs off the turns if they time it just right. It looks like they're practicing that right now, which they're doing a kind of a race in the race, just to set up the last few laps here. Seth Berger and Landon Lacey practicing pushing each other up to the front, laying back, seeing how long they can push each other, how much he can push each other before that 24 truck kind of overheats. And maybe if that 77 is able to take the pushes with the damage that he has on the truck right now, it doesn't look like he's as fast as he was earlier. There's some damage on the right. You can see it on the right rear of that truck's pushed in just a bit. Nothing with the spoiler, but definitely some damage on the right side of that 77 truck. Is that hindering that outside line at all?
It could definitely be. Obviously, as we mentioned before, Emerson, these cars are not that aerodynamic. So whenever you get even a slight bit of damage, that's going to hurt a lot of the car. It's going to hurt a lot of the top speed. Now we have an excellent shot of how much banking there is on this racetrack. And the 77 with that just tiny bit of damage, that can cost him just a few, even 1 or 2 miles an hour, that can cost him the lead of the race and maybe the win. As you can see now with 8 laps to go, Emerson, is this the time where you start timing your exit out of turn 4? You start timing the pushes as if you're a teammate. What do you do now?
Absolutely. This is where you practice. And you saw a few laps ago, how quickly can those 4 trucks get lined up? And oh, look at them. Up the racetrack is Causey and Holt. They're trying to side draft the trucks up on the high side because they got such a good run out of turn 2. But in turn, that's going to split them up from Fitzpatrick on the bottom side. They're going to have a really slow center of 3 and 4 on the outside. But a lot of mind games is happening here. Just moving up the racetrack, half a lane like that could slow down that outside lane. And Causey and Holt, again, using their experience and their knowledge of this type of racing, out there trying to slow down that outside lane. But you'll notice as we get into some parts of this racetrack, especially on the straightaways, the outside lane, though they could stay in that second lane above from the bottom, they actually try to go a little bit higher to reduce the effects of side draft. You'll see it here. Seth actually pulls up to the outside hash mark, and here they come right up again, half a lane up, trying to side draft.
Yeah, the side draft not as strong in these trucks as it is in, say, the Cup car or Xfinity car, but it's still there. It still has some of an impact, just enough to slow the run of that outside lean down. That is what the 3 truck and the 88 truck are doing. But a big push by the 24 truck here really gets the 77 out to the front of this field. He's still not able to clear the 3 truck, though. It is a big, big battle between these guys to the end as we get to 6 laps to go.
Yeah, exactly. With 6 laps to go, I mean, now it's essentially now or never. You start falling in line, you just start to push everything that you can. I'm not pretty sure there's a lot that Fitzpatrick, as we're riding on board with him, can do as a 77 again, struggling with a little bit of damage. His teammates doing everything possible as you have this amazing penny shot. I mean, it's just going to come down to the line, isn't it, Emerson? I mean, these guys are going to do everything that you can, but if you're Fitzpatrick in this position, even service, what do? Do you try to make a 3-lane battle? Do you try to sneak into the middle lane? Is there anything you can do at this point?
Get some numbers on your side. Again, I'm going to say it again, but Fitzpatrick, he's kind of boxed in here. You see somebody trying to on the high side, I believe that's Devin Smith, but he's having no help. It's not really going to do anything. He's just trying to get anyone to go with him, but nobody in that top 4 on the outside is going to break. So Devin Smith's going to try to maybe find a way around Bothwell. At this point, Fitzpatrick, he's pretty much... Oh, Bothwell into the wall! Bothwell's going to lose some pace out of that. He may as well lose the draft. That might also hurt the outside lane, but a huge push as Berger and Lacey get lined up on the outside, trying to get cleared into turn 3. They cannot, and there's still only 4 trucks on the outside, but Bothwell, that's a massive loss to the outside lane.
That is a massive loss to the outside lane, but something that could be potentially happening here. Fitzpatrick's been noticing that 3 truck and the 88, they always tend to drift up on the back stretch and leave that inside lane open. If he can time it right with the driver right behind him, I believe that is...
That's Randall
Barnett. If he can get Randall Barnett to give him a push at the right time, he can get under that 88, force the 3 and 88 to the middle of the track. He has 3 trucks with him. He could possibly still win that way. If he times it right. He's got to time it just right. Right now, he's just playing the game, sitting back, watching what these guys in front of him do. If they give him the opening, though, I guarantee you that 2 truck's going to take it.
Oh, he would certainly take it for sure.
Go.
But the 48 is also Performance Sim Sport, so he's going to have a split decision. Carry on, JP.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, that might be the Fitzpatrick's only chance to win, as we do have a car. Emerson, I'm not pretty sure who that is, running essentially a 3rd line all by himself. He might just be falling back in line as we approach now 3 laps to go. I mean, it's coming down the line, as you can see. I'm not pretty sure who that is. Oh, that's Brad Bothwell, kind of running a lot of damage on that front right, sorry. Might be causing him, as you can see, trying to get it. He's using the side draft to perfection, essentially trying to get a small run, but when you're alone, you don't have those numbers, as you like to mention, right, Emerson?
Absolutely not, but he's trying to send Devin Smith to the sucker hole, and he's trying to make up some spots there near trouble there between Devin Smith, Brad Bothwell, and Joshua Balliette. They all kind of worked themselves out, but Bothwell was able to get 5th truck there on the outside lane. Devin Smith backed out. Devin Smith's trying to stay latched onto the outside, and Bothwell's trying to move forward by himself, but he's too damaged. I think somebody's got to, say his best chance is probably to work with somebody than work by yourself against the current. But here we go. This is 2 laps to go at Talladega. Seth Berger has a slight advantage at the line. But again, Bothwell side drafting Balliette. That's a huge blow for the outside lane again if they stay side by side.
Yeah, and that's something that the Swift Racing guys are saying probably in their Discord, that 31 truck is really, really messing with their game plan here. He is not helping them at all. Again, he jumps out of line to the outside. All that does is slow down the 7 truck, takes away the momentum of the 3 trucks in front of him. He does it again, but this time he's left out to dry, and Devin Smith pokes his nose under there. He's trying to get back with the Swift Racing guys, gives them a push, gives Balliette a push, and pushes him back, trying to get back by Bothwell, who's trying to win this race any way he can with a damaged truck.
He's trying absolutely he can with that damaged truck, as the white flag by Tucson Soundart is waved. We're on the final lap. This is all or nothing for these guys. Emerson is going to come down to the line. We're just on the exit of turn 2, and they're side by side. Less than half a tenth covers the top 2, but looks like Swift Motorsport got a nice run.
A great run down the back straightaway. Seth Berger, and around goes Joseph Causey. He's going to go spinning around in the background. Joseph Causey into the infield. Back up front. Seth Berger now only has to work against Greg Holt. He's got Layden Lacey.
All four Swift are still there.
To the line, to the championship 4. Seth Berger is going to go to the Tri-Oval and win his way to Atlanta.
A 1, 2, 3, 4 for Swift Racing at the line. Greg Holt had zero help. His only help was Joseph Causey. They were holding off Swift Racing to perfection the entire end of that run, and Swift Racing survives the wreck, all 4 of them, and are able to get around the single performance sim sport of Greg Holt and take a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish.
I mean, they had been dominated. I'm sorry, Emerson. We're gonna take a look at the replay. Yep. So, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. We're gonna take a look at the replay and see what had happened. Remember, Fitzpatrick got to the inside. They were 4 wide. Causey was a little too late on that cover-up block. And then, big hits up into the air. Randall Barnett, Devin Smith, Joshua Gaffright hard into the outside wall. Jeremiah Stutzman also had some trouble down here. Joshua Land Fox was also severely off the pace with a blown motor here. Big impacts here for a lot of drivers. And Joshua Land Fox, I don't know did he not make it to the line? Oh no. He just got out dragged by everybody else. I'm gonna get another look at it. That was a massive pile up in turn 3. You're gonna see right here. This is from onboard the 63 and a Barnett 4 wide, just not gonna work into turn 3. Fitzpatrick was there. Barnett sent to the outside wall, nearly up and over. There's the 95 of Devin Smith, collects the 27 of Gaffright. Goodness gracious, and only a 5 truck incident there. That and the one we had around lap 60. Those are about the biggest wrecks we had today.
Yep, it came down to that last wreck, and I told you if that opening was there, Seth Fitzpatrick was gonna take it. And Causey and Holt moved up to that second lane to take that side draft, put the side draft on the Swift Racing guys. And Seth Fitzpatrick timed it right with Randall Barnett behind him, got underneath the Causey. Causey did the block a little too late, and it ended up costing Performance Sim Sports a big finish here. But in turn, that sends last year's champion, the reigning champion of this league, the Outlaws Sim Series, Seth Berger, to the Final 4.
Exactly. Coming down from the cutoff line and below the cutoff, only 2 points. He secures the first spot, I'm pretty sure, right, Emerson? To the championship 4. And, well, what a way to do it. As we talked to him pre-race, he said he had absolutely no plans, no game plans for the race. And, well, that was the winning strategy. And just as I promised, we're going to talk to him sooner. I mean, we're going to talk to him soon. I hoped we're going to do that. And, well, we will.
We will talk to Seth Berger, who just won his way into the championship 4 in Atlanta. We'll do so on the far side of this break. Real quick, I just want to give, again, a huge shout-out to Swift Racing, because that is a difficult feat. We've seen Performance Sim Sport, and Performance Sim Sport, they're such an impressive team. They're fast every other racetrack, and they come to the plate tracks, and they all line up, and they just dominate. The last 3 or 4 plate races has just been Performance Sim Sport coming in and taking the race over. And for the first time, I think, in about 5 plate races here in the Outlaws Sim Series, it was not a Performance Sim Sport dominance there at the end. And I know that the numbers were whittled down through wrecks, but it's just... It's insane how it worked out. And Performance Sim Sport, I mean, they had about 4 dominant performances at these plate tracks, but it may be back to the drawing board and seeing how they're going to be able to maybe prevent something like this from happening to their camp. But we're going to be taking a quick break here. On the far side of this break, we will, of course, talk to race winner And, well, pretty much the top 3 from Swift Racing that finished 1, 2, 3. Seth Berger, Max Service, Landon Lacey on the far side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
SoundArt introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. SoundArt ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
SoundArt is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it SoundArt. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? SoundArt gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. We're now in the post-race coverage of the Outlaws Sim Series Gunman Trucks Race 20 of 22, the opening race of the third round of the Outlaws Sim Series playoffs. And we know for sure one driver will be going to Atlanta with a chance to win the championship. Seth Berger, you are going to Atlanta with a chance to repeat here in the Outlaws Sim Series. Buddy, how does it feel?
Oh, dude, it feels awesome, man. I honestly didn't think I'd ever be able to get a super speedway win, and especially after I got door slammed on the back straightaway in the lead, man. I've had a super frustrating attempt at super speedways. I've been taken out everywhere from the back to the lead, and oh man. First off, I just want to thank Lacey. He helped us out so much tonight. He had the strats. He did everything for us tonight. He helped immensely. He knew the strat. He said to stay committed with them, and I stayed committed with them, and it worked out great for all of us, 1 through 4.
Absolutely, and we saw it. Most of these play track races, the last 4 specifically, even though the last 2, I think it was later in the race, but they've kind of been taking over performance sim sport. But today, we said Swift Racing over and over and over again. Right from the get-go, it looked like Swift Racing just lined up and went to the front and kind of took control of that bottom lane and of this race. What you said Lacey did a lot of it, but what was that team dynamic? You know, the decisions to pit and then having to go up against Holt and Kazi, 2 of the most experienced drivers. I would say even on the sim with 11 years of experience for Greg Holt. But to y'all, what was that dynamic like? What was that team dynamic like at Swift Racing tonight?
Really was just trying to find a way to all stay together. We knew if we had 4 very fast trucks, thanks to Lacey, had the correct setups for the truck tonight, and we just knew if we could get 4 of us all lined up, it'd be really tough to pass us. And once no one could pass us for the lead while we were on the bottom, we had confidence on that high side to at least stay there, which is exactly what we did and exactly got it done. But yeah, man, it was really just staying committed. Mal was doing a lot of work in that last car, protecting the high side and middle lane, making sure we didn't get split up there. Yeah, it was really just making sure we all stuck together and had the right momentum. And for those last 10 laps, we were just planning out what we were going to do. And I wouldn't say until the last 3 laps we finally came up with a plan. And unfortunate how it ended for the bottom line, but great for us.
Right, the last lap accident there. Another accident kind of happened, and this was actually very intriguing. I know it was at the mercy of you having to go to pit, and Lacey went back there with you, of course, to help you out, to get you back to the front after you pitted for your damage repairs. But you then took your teammates 3 wide with performance sim score on the bottom side, and that was probably the most white knuckle racing of the day. To take your teammates 3 wide, what happened there? What was the whole game plan? What was the communication between y'all and Max and Balliet? Like, what happened there? And then, you know, what did you see from the wreck behind?
At that point, once we were in the back, we were just trying to figure out how we were going to get back to the front. We were kind of separated in strategies there with Max and Malenko, but that truck was fast. It went from the back of the field to the front on that very outside line, and that was definitely white knuckle racing. I started to get a little tingly in my hands there, but yeah, it was just lucky how things worked out. I think best case scenario, if no caution came out there and we were in that 3rd lane on the high side, is me and Lacey would have cleared in front of Max and Mal, and then we would have lined up the exact same we were at the end.
Fair enough. And I know you're still looking forward to Bristol because it'd be nice to get another win on the season, but your eyes set towards Atlanta now. What do you feel that 77 can bring to the plate, can bring to bat at Atlanta in 2 weeks' time?
I think I don't know if I'll have the outright fastest truck in Atlanta, but I have a strategy for Atlanta, and I'm going to stick to it, and we're going to see what happens. Worked out for me last time.
Right on. Well, you heard it. Seth Berger, race winner tonight at Talladega, and that was absolutely insane how this all worked out, Seth. We'll give you the floor here to shout out if you got a shout out. Thank you for thank for winning your way into the championship 4 at Atlanta.
I'd just like to thank Burger Nation. Wow, that was a great race. I finally got them to victory lane, first time since Rockingham. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I want to shout out both my aunts in Tennessee, Aunt Lisa and Aunt Pam, for hosting us for Thanksgiving in Tennessee, and they also have some great neighbors, Michelle and Desmond. And second of all, we were talking about this in the other Discord channel, if you would like to do the first ever Outlaws group interview.
Outlaws group interview? Yep.
Bring us all up here.
I guess we can let Devin kind of take his picks at it, and then JP if he has questions. It'd be intriguing, but I'm willing to try it. I think we did a lot with you, so I think maybe the Seth questions may be a little worn out here, but sure, we'll bring everyone up. We can give it a shot. Devin, go for it.
Yeah, here they all are, all 4 Swift Racing trucks, all in an interview together. What a finish, fellas.
Yeah, it really was.
I knew it was going to do that. All of them talk at once.
That's how it often goes.
It was a setup. I planned that. But man, you guys executed your strategy to perfection. Seth was raving about the strategy, saying that you, Landon, were really kind of taking control of the team and charging them with what to do, when to do it, and how to execute the strategy. Did it go the way you were planned? I know that there was a little bit of a door shot with an incident on the backstretch. How much did that throw a wrench in that plan?
I don't think it really threw much of a wrench into it. We were all at that point kind of worried about whether or not we could make it to the end on fuel. So I think after the fact of realizing that the damage wasn't bad and we were still good, I think it actually ended up working in our favor. I mean, of course, we had some track position to make up, but with the way the race felt, it wasn't that difficult to get back up there.
Yeah, both when the 77 and the 24 there were hooked up, it was really fun to watch, and it seemed like that was the configuration that seemed to be the fastest for you guys with the 77, the 24, 81, and the 7. Was that something that y'all kind of set from the get-go as once y'all got moving and said this seems to be the fastest configuration of all 4 trucks?
I mean, not to throw anything on Max, but Max from the beginning said that he wasn't going to be able to be a good pusher. Seth pushed for a little bit, and he said he was struggling. So yeah, I think the best lineup was the 77, and then myself, and then for Max and Josh.
I was just in the Dale Senior role.
It was more just like the way they fell, and then once we got in line, we just felt like nobody else could get by us.
Yeah, I was going to talk to Max there, where they were able to get you the stage 2 win, and it looked like, again, strategy at play there to get you up to the front. I know that Seth missed his pit box on that first pit stop, so that probably had a little bit to do with it, but getting you that stage win, was that kind of a strategy from the get-go, or did it just kind of come about based off of that, how that pit stop went?
No, it 100% came out of how that pit stop went. And we were really surprised we actually came out the leaders there, because Seth missed his pit box. We had to check up for him, and then we had a disastrous 3 and 4. Hopefully that wasn't caught on broadcast, because we were a mess there. Now hit 3rd gear in the corner. Don't know how we didn't blow that engine. And I ended up going by Lacey and Mal and leading the line and getting the stage win. I mean, it worked out really good with Seth getting 1st and me getting 3rd in the first stage, and then we flip-flopped for the 2nd stage, so really good points day for us. I mean, Seth's locked in now, so I guess just me.
I mean, I have absolutely no questions, because Davide, I'm pretty sure, covered everything. I mean, these boys threw everything, dominated the whole race, and I mean, it seems like the dream team, doesn't it?
Coordination-wise, I think so. I think we might have the best coordination. PSM's definitely great with Holt and Kazi. They work together great, but tonight I think we prevailed.
I mean, you guys won all 3 stages. Every time we looked at you, even you guys overcame the small mistake that Seth had on the pit stop. I mean, I kind of thought, that might be it, just everybody checking up, and then somehow y'all came back. It just dominated once again. I mean, it was a fantastic comeback, even after the damage that Seth had. So, I mean, I'm speechless. I actually have no questions. I'm just happy for everything. I mean, Seth, I told you I was gonna talk to you again, and well, kind of didn't ask all the questions, but yeah, really happy for everybody here.
I do have one question left, and it's for Mal. You were running probably the most important position there in the back of that train of Swifterados. You were there protecting the 3 guys in front of you. I mean, I've done that role a few times. It is not easy. You got to call out runs. You got to block the runs. You are the first line of defense. Kind of walk us through the end of that race. You had the 31 there bearing down on you. You had, I believe it was Devin Smith there bearing down on you, trying to get around any way they could, and you just held them off. Kind of walk us through those last 3 laps.
Well, we're coming with 3 laps. front guys were pretty much figuring out on exactly how to get ahead of Holt, right? Because we had it pretty much set up to where we'd probably get him at the tri-oval, and I would just set up just making sure Bothwell, Devin weren't able to make it 3 wide and side draft one of us up on the top or force me 3 wide, and then there's only 3 cars in lane. And then when we got on the back stretch there, Holt and Kazi, we were about to clear them. They came up to side draft. Then I kind of pulled down side draft Kazi, and I think that's what ended up causing the wreck, really, is that when he pulled up the side draft, I go down to side draft him, and Seth Fitzpatrick gets side by side with him, and Kazi was either going to get wrecked by me or Seth because he was kind of stuck there. But at the end, was just trying to help out my boys here. Came here to just finish a race for once, really. Had bad luck in the races before, and everything worked out. We really didn't have a stumble other than Schroeder hitting Seth in the side. We pretty much came out here, did everything we wanted to do, led every lap just about, and dominated.
That's enough said there. I mean, come out and Swift Racing dominates Talladega in the playoffs and sends one of your guys, the reigning champion, back to defend his title. I mean, I have no further questions, Your Honor, Emerson. Take it away.
I think that's going to wrap it up there. If anybody else has any more sponsors they need to get out, you can kind of go down the order of finishing results. Max, you've got to shout anyone, then Lacey, then Mal. If y'all got to shout anybody else out, Seth got a lot of it. But if y'all got to shout anybody out, go for it.
I gotta start off. Obviously, it's Swift Racing. These Swifterados were so fast, and we've been super fast ever since the release of Red Taylor's version. So there's got to be a connection there, and that's really all I have to say.
I just gotta thank Bob Ross for all the support today. He was a real motivator.
All right.
No mistake, just happy accidents.
I guess we'll get those 2 out of the way. But no, I'd like to thank Charge Racing. I'd also like to thank Charge Racing again for the amazing setup they provided for me, and I was able to get out to these guys. I'd like to thank Mid-South Coating Company, Chipotle, Competition Designs, you guys here in the booth. Thank Adam and all the admins for everything they do. And basically everybody that's got me here to this point. Thank you.
Right on. Well, boys, congratulations on the 1, 2, 3, 4. An intriguing dynamic here. Seth, I wish you had said something a little bit sooner because we could have probably gotten them all in here throughout your interview, but that's all right. Congratulations on the 1, 2, 3, 4. Seth, congratulations on making it to Atlanta with the chance to go repeat, and best of luck to y'all. Next week at Bristol, or for Seth at also Bristol at Atlanta, and yeah, best of luck to y'all then, and we'll see y'all around.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And there it is, Swift Racing and all of their glory coming today with a lot of momentum and a lot of speed and a lot of moxie, and they got it done. Again, I was not expecting that, to be completely honest. And so if it sounds like I'm pleasantly surprised, I am. I was more or less expecting this to be, kind of Joseph Kazi, Greg Holt leading the whole race with their entire team behind them. And of course, they were trying to there at the end, but their team was whittled down by so many, incidents that there wasn't many left of them. And Swift Racing, they were just lined up all race long. And I know 3 of them are my teammates in another league, and I raced the other one also in that same league. The dynamic over there is just the same at Playtrex. They're an unbreakable force. It is absolutely wild to see them at work, and it's what we got to witness tonight. And hopefully everyone all enjoyed that. With that being said, we still have to, of course, work through all of the finishing results we have to go through here today. And of course, that goes with the Swift Racing 1, 2, 3, 4. Seth Berger with the win, Max Service second, Landon Lacey third, Joshua Bally at fourth. Greg Holt was able to hold on and stay there in fifth. With the haul of points he already had coming into this round, Greg Holt looks relatively safe, not locked in, but relatively safe heading to Bristol. We'll get, of course, the point total when we get the chance to update the points. But Greg Holt should have a very healthy margin heading into Bristol. Garrett Velzy making his return to Outlaws Sim Series competition will finish sixth. Seth Fitzpatrick had a good haul of stage points today, trying to claw out of that minus 13 point deficit coming into tonight's race. We'll see how that points work out again later on this week. Brad Bothwell there in 8th, Jeremiah Stutzman in 9th, also getting himself a nice little haul of points for himself, and Joseph Kazi rounding out the top 10 after going sideways into turn 3, somehow was able to get that thing back to the start-finish line in the 10th position. Devin?
Yeah, and then these are the rest of the guys who were involved in that last lap incident and the incident beforehand. Randall Barnett coming home 11th, Joshua Gathright coming home 12th, Benjamin Park 13th, Jason Miz 14th, Tyler Markle 15th, Devin Smith 16th, and then Joshua Landfox. He was not able to get to the start-finish line, so he finishes a lap down. The engine blew in that truck, so he was not able to get there. Devin Smith also in the same situation, both trucks with blown engines, not able to get to the line to complete the last lap, so they are officially scored 1 lap down. Doug Solms involved in the incident before that. We rode on board with him. He comes home in 18th, 2 laps down, and then we get to the kind of the calamity corner here with guys involved in earlier accidents, not able to continue with big damage. Kyle Lingerfeld 17 laps down in 19th, and Andrew Pratt 24 laps down in 20th. JP.
Exactly. In 21st place, unfortunately 25 laps down, it's going to be Andrew Schroeder. And then number 47, James Gilliard and Farrell Allen, also 25 laps down. And then we skip all the way to 39 laps down. We do have Jesse Adams in 24th place. John Mickey is going to be finishing off in 25th. Julio Villalobos, who we saw had a massive accident, finishes in 26th place alongside Matthew Setzer in the number 5 and 27th. Eric Arpak finished in 28th place, 52 laps down. And then 88 laps down, we're going to have Matt Rogers, Andrew Corr in 29th and 30th place respectively. And in 31st place, and unfortunately last, is going to be Jeremy Poole, 90 laps down.
And that will wrap up the race results here today at the Talladega Superspeedway. Of course, you got to give a huge shout out to all of our partners here at Pit Stop TV and that of Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. You provide the image that you want, and we will custom create a beautifully framed, high quality canvas with built-in Bluetooth speaker. With Sound Art, you get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional info and use promo code PitStopTV at checkout and receive 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. With locations in Auburn, Lewiston, Naples, and Saco, Maine, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine owner Ashley Bollier is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. You can contact Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com, as you see on your screen there, or you can call or text them at 207-358-8683. And while Whiplash Media specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs, and more, the official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV. Beautiful camera shots done tonight by, of course, yours truly, Andrew Cardinelli IV, and doing the amazing work he does every week to put Outlaws Sim Series and all the other broadcasts here at Pit Stop TV on an amazing platform, giving all these drivers and their respective friends, family, and fans something to watch that looks really, really great each and every week. Again, not enough credit goes to Andrew Cardinelli IV for the work he puts in each week to make these broadcasts go round. So, of course, you can still grab your own iBroadcast cameras today, well, not your own, but you can grab our iBroadcast cameras today at www.pitstoptv.com/whiplash. And of course, fan racing videos by a race fan for the racing community. And with that being said, the slate of upcoming broadcasts, it is quite the slate. Thursday night, tomorrow night, 9:15 p.m. Eastern, the North American Racing League with their 5th race of the season. I'm sorry, no, that should be 6th race of the season at the Hungaroring. Again, a new track to the iRacing service should be a blast. I cannot wait to see how all those GT3 cars take to the Hungaroring. I know it's been really ran through the sports car ringer when it came to the iRacing service and the official series. So these drivers, if they participate in those, should be well prepped for a fun night tomorrow night at the Hungaroring. Sunday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, the Superior Class Auto Racing Series takes their GT1 cars to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course out in virtual Lexington, Ohio, for another great showing. Mid-Ohio, such a beautiful track with its natural elevation changes, and you can kind of even see it there in the preview picture as well. Just a beautiful track, a challenging track as well for GT1 cars that have a lot of power to those machines working their way through the ups and downs, the curves of the Mid-Ohio Sports Cars. You won't want to miss it. Sunday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Monday evening, the BRP iRacing Series takes their dirt big blocks to the Knoxville Raceway. It'll be intriguing to see how those dirt big blocks navigate around the raised berm on the inside as they take to, again, Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world. And next Wednesday night, one last chance for 6 drivers to make those final 3 spots for the Outlaws Sim Series Championship 4 next Wednesday night at the Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum, hosting the penultimate round of the Outlaws Sim Series Gunman Truck season, and it'll be an amazing showing there as well, with 3 spots left up for grabs. Devin, where can everybody catch up with all of those broadcasts, all of our social media channels and all that jazz?
Yeah, of course, you can always catch up with any of the action here on Pit Stop TV at facebook.com, pitstoptv / Pit Stop TV, Instagram.com /pit_stop_TV, and Twitter.com /Pit Stop TV_ and YouTube.com /C /Pit Stop TV1. You can also catch us on Twitch, and that address will be provided to you by Emerson, I believe.
Twitch.tv /pit_stop_TV. And normally Devin, gives us his amazing opinions on, this upcoming slate of broadcasts. But JP, you're still here, buddy. You cover 2 of those 3 broadcasts that are coming up. What are you looking forward to most throughout the coming week? The GT3s at Hungaroring, Formula 1 track that or GT1 cars at Mid-Ohio, a whole new challenge you may not be particularly familiar with, or, maybe even the Dirt Oval race if you're tuning in. What are you looking forward to most out of that weekend? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's going to be a packed weekend. It's going to be interesting because it's 2 completely different cars in 2 completely different circuits. Obviously, I'm really excited to be covering the Hungaroring. I'm really thankful that Andrew obviously is picking me to cover that with him. I mean, it's just so much fun seeing those guys driving GT cars so closely. It's almost like seeing them driving at Talladega, how close they drive to one another. And obviously, Hungaroring is going to be an interesting challenge for everybody. It's a Formula 1 track. It's going to be tight. Sometimes it's going to be really difficult for some of those drivers to get a perfect lap in. And obviously, when you look at this car, that has been a fantastic series. Those GT1 cars are providing fantastic racing all along. Last time out, we were at Lime Rock, and I mean, on a racetrack you don't expect to see a lot of action. That definitely was a lot of action. So at Mid-Ohio is definitely going to be very exciting. So I can't choose one of them. All I know is that I'm really excited for this week.
I think rightfully so. And with that being said, that's going to do it here from the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. We're happy to have had you all here and tuning in and joining us for tonight's action. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all at Pit Stop TV, Devin Zimmerman and João Paulo Costa alongside me on the call this evening, I'm Emerson Arden. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next Wednesday night at the Bristol Motor Speedway for the penultimate round of the Outlaws Sim Series. So tomorrow night for the North American Racing League from the Hungaroring. Be there.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.